we convert guests into members. Thank you, Becky, for recording. And we list the components of these teams. We are going to have 3 teams. We want to list the components of these 3 teams and then specify what deliverables each team is supposed to give us. Now, why do people join? Why do guests attend meetings? Just quickly in the chat, just share with me why would a guest attend one of our meetings? I'm checking the chat, just type anything. Why would one come to a Toastmasters meeting? They are not a member. Why would they come to a meeting? Guys, are you there? I don't see anything in the chat. Yeah, yes, curious to know what the fuss is all about. This is Toastmasters thing and people are just talking about it. What's the fuss? And yes, to know more about what Toastmasters is all about, to learn more about Toastmasters, yes, to make an informed decision whether to join or not. Yes, very good answers. Yes, networking is one of my main reasons. Thank you, Abby. I see, yes, all those reasons. So you see, people come to our meetings for different reasons. Some, they have public speaking problems, so they want to solve those problems. And they've been invited. So a friend has said, come and see what I've found, and maybe you might benefit from it. And they come to the meetings. But what you've seen is that guests come to our meetings for different reasons. So as the people arranging for this special event where we have just guests only, the special event which we normally term an open house, we need to make sure that we cater for everyone and all the needs for all the people that are coming to the meeting are met. And somebody says to understand Toastmasters. Yes, thank you. So now, I did say we have 3 teams. The pre-event team, this is the team that works before the event actually happens. Who is in this team? And what are they supposed to do? We have the SAA, who makes sure that we have secured a room for our meeting. Very important. Be it an online meeting or an in-person meeting, the SAA is a very big job to make sure that we have secured a room. Before we can start advertising and marketing our event, we need to have secured a room for our meeting. And once we've done that, the guests come to our club. The VPPR is not the only one that's responsible for inviting guests to our club. Yes, they play a very important role. They are there to make sure that if we're going to the press, if we're going on Facebook, if we're going on all social media platforms, it's their role to make sure that we're there. But all club members are there to make sure that they get the word out. So if you don't improperly at this pre-event, in this pre-event team, you are not able to really achieve the results that you're supposed to achieve before the event happens. What are we trying to do with this event? We're trying to invite as many guests into the room as we can. This will increase our chances of converting. The more people you have in the room, the higher the chance to get the 5 that you're looking for. Therefore, the Vice President of Public Relations should empower the club members with material to invite guests. I would like to go back again to the Sergeant at Arms, especially for an in-person, for an online meeting. Let's assure that we have a registration link for our online meeting. This way we capture information for even those that fail to then attend on the day, but we've got the information and their intent to want to join our meeting. This is also very, very important. Now we've done everything. We have done the flyer, we've booked the room, we've invited, and we've got our people that have registered. I would want to suggest that a day before the meeting, a day before the event, we send out, the club secretary sends out a guest pack to all the people that have registered to attend our event. This shows that we are organized. It shows that there are people that actually come to Toastmasters for that little bit of organization that we have, that bit of that we've got to say, we plan our meetings, we've got our agenda ready in time, we know what we're doing at what time. So when we send out that guest pack, it gives them, the guests, more information, it gives them the agenda. I really don't like attending meetings where I don't know what's going to happen. I'd like to know what's going to happen next, what's going to happen after that. So when we send out a guest pack, let's include the agenda. Let's include a bit of information on Toastmasters. And we can even include information on how you can join, so that when we speak about it, they would have already seen it somewhere. So this is where the secretary comes in. We take that register, we send out to all our registered participants a guest pack. This does something for somebody. It's very important. So this is our pre-event team. We are ready to get to the event. We've invited our guests. We've got 60 guests invited. We've sent them all a guest pack, and we wait for the actual event. Now this is the first team. Now we move on to the second team that you need to organize for you to have a successful membership building event. This is the event team, the actual event, the open house event. The open house event is normally a 1-hour event that tries to give as much information on Toastmasters as we can in the hour, to help those that are in the room to understand what Toastmasters is all about and whether or not they would like to join this organization. These are the role takers for the open house. So you do have an MC. You have somebody who's going to talk about their experience with Toastmasters, somebody who will talk about Toastmasters as an organization. That's you and Toastmasters. We have somebody giving an icebreaker speech to show where you start off as you join your Toastmasters journey. And we have an advanced speaker to show what happens when Toastmasters works on you and you become an advanced speaker. We then have the evaluators for both the speakers. We have somebody who's doing the table topic session, which we will term guest storytelling. We don't want to scare off our guests. We just want it to, we don't want, people are there because they're scared to speak. So we don't want to scare them away even further. And then we have somebody who then explains what happens what you get from membership in Toastmasters. Of course, in Toastmasters, we always want to keep time. We need a timer. And I forgot to ask Becky who our timer is for today so that I know I don't go over time. And we also need a Zoom master, especially for online meeting, and then a sergeant at arms for our in-person meetings. So this is the team that will do the main event. And this team needs to be on point. They need to be in the room probably 30 minutes before the event time so that we all know what we're doing. We need a briefing, maybe a day or two before the event, so that we don't have people going off script. People are in the room to watch what we're doing. They want to know whether we know what we're doing. So we don't want somebody coming to be a role taker in the main event and they are not aware of exactly what they're supposed to deliver. So this is the main event, the main team. There's not really the main team. I believe all three teams are equally important. Now we've invited guests. They've come. We've showcased Toastmasters. We've brought it and we've done an amazing job. We now need a team that will follow up those leads, follow up all our guests that registered to come to the meeting. And even if they didn't manage to make it, it is still a contact that we've made, somebody who's expressed interest in our event. We need to follow them up. Now, this team is mainly comprised of the VPM and other ExCo members to make the job easy. So if you've got 60 people in the room, it's not fair for us to ask one person to follow up to 60 people, because we need these people followed up in the next 24 hours. While they say strike the iron while it's still hot, while it's still fresh in their mind, the experiences in Toastmasters in the meeting is still fresh. We need to follow them up to help them make that decision. So it's not fair for the club to ask one person to follow up 60 people. We can have all the ExCo members split the leads and follow them up. You can also reach out to your club members and say, we've got this project running. Is anyone willing to assist us? So these are the three teams that you'd want to work on to make sure you've got an event that will produce results. Now, what results are we looking for? From the pre-event team, we're looking for them to create a buzz around the event. You know, as I said, we want to invite as many guests as we can. Where do we create this buzz? Do we send our flyers in our club group and hope that our club members come to the event? No. When we send the flyer to our club group, we're saying to our club members, invite guests. Do we send to our division, a Toastmasters group, to invite our fellow Toastmasters to come to the event? When we send that flyer to the division WhatsApp group, we are saying to the division, help us to invite guests to our event. Let's keep in mind that our target market. What is our target market? We're not looking for Toastmasters, we're looking for guests. Let's find ways to create a buzz around our event, either in the press or on social media. I know the PR manager is currently running a promotion where they've asked us to give them our flyer and they can create leads for us. This is the right opportunity to utilize that offer from the PR manager to send our flyers and get those leads to get people into the room. As a pre-event team, we need to have a target on how many registrations we want for our event, depending on the results that we want. We might want to get 10 members. We might want to reach to meet all our 2 membership goals from this event. That will determine the number of guests we need to have in the room. I'm sure Becky will then tell us the mathematics around how many guests you need to have to convert so many members. I know he's going to share that with us. And as I said, we need to ensure that each participant who is registered has a guest pack. Email to them. As they register, we collect their email addresses. So we use those email addresses to send them. This will remind them also of the meeting. And if we are tech savvy and we're able to send that email to say the meeting is starting at 12, if it's starting at 12, so that we remind them that they've registered for a meeting and they might have forgotten, to make sure we have as many people in the room as we can. Now, the actual events team, as I said, they need to bring their A game. They need to do a wow event. Starts on time, ends on time. Make sure that all the participants, if it's an online meeting, make sure that everybody that's speaking on that day has their video on. It is very disappointing to go to an open house event and we have speakers that aren't speaking without video. We need to look for people that will be able to present with their videos on, present effectively, really deliver on the day, because we are showcasing. A showcase should be a wow event. It should show what Toastmasters is all about. And in the event, one of the things that I feel that is important is to ensure that everybody participates, gets something to say, even in the room. Now, depending on the crowd that you pull, you might not have an opportunity to get everyone to speak, but you can then, towards the end of the meeting, split people, put them in breakaway rooms so that they have a conversation with somebody so that they can ask the questions that they have. Don't let them leave the meeting with questions. Allow them to ask their questions, and you never know, even during that session, that breakaway session, you might close a couple of deals there, convert a number of guests into members. Make sure, this is also in the breakaway, make sure that the guests get the information on how they can get started on their journey. So this is in the main meeting. You can actually come out of that main event. We can actually come out of the event knowing who exactly is going to join and when they are ready to pay for their membership. Okay, and after the event, as I said, 24 hours after your open house or your club meeting that you've done, especially for the guests, follow the leads up. Remember, I said a lead is anyone who's expressed interest in our event. People register for our meetings, but they fail to make the meeting for one reason or the other. Life happens, they fail to connect, maybe the internet is down, whatever the reason is, but they've expressed interest in our event. Let's call them, find out if we can invite them to our next event, or if we can share the recording for the event so that they can catch up and start that conversation happening. I want to suggest that let's not just send our leads WhatsApp messages. Let's give them calls. A call makes a difference. When you call somebody, they will ask the questions that they might not ask on the text message. So let's send a message to say, what time is it comfortable for me to give you a ring? And then we call them and try and get them started on their journey. Now, the post-events team is responsible for making sure that the conversion happens. They are closing the deal. So we need, for the Smedley Award that we are working for, this until the end of September, we want to convert 5 guests to members. So this team is responsible for that. Remember, I said our VPM can lead this team with the help of other EXCO members and other club members. Now that I've explained the three teams that we need for membership building, but there's each team needs a leader. I'm sure I've got presidents. I see a president from one of the clubs in Division Z and VPMs in the room. Maybe if you can in the chat, just type for me your role in the club so that I know who I'm speaking to. And I want to challenge all of us to take this up as a project and manage these 3 teams. You can even do it as a high performance leadership project. I see PRs there, VPEs. I see presidents, President Valentine and President there, Elder, Secretary, VPMs, Area Director, a Treasurer. As I said, everybody has got a part to play. But for this to work, this is from my experience, for this membership building campaign to work, we need to have a team leader. We need somebody that takes up this Medley campaign as a project, to say, I am running with this as a project, and these are the teams that I'm going to have, and be coordinating the teams to make sure that you achieve the desired goals. Whether your goal is 8 new members or 5 new members, 8 new members would be good for you because you'll be done with the membership goals in the golden quarter. So depending on the goal that you set for yourself, I challenge each and every one of us in this room to take up this as a project and be the team leader who's going to guide the 3 teams to make sure that we achieve the Smedley Award. We add 5 new members or reinstate members, or even get dual members to our club in the next over 30 days. We've got over 30 days to do this. But if you plan your event well off in time, give yourself 10 days to plan and generate the leads. Ask Mr. PR Manager to generate leads for you. Have those 3 teams in place, you are guaranteed to have results. I'm speaking from a point where the area that I was leading last Toastmasters year, managed to have all the clubs distinguished. We specifically had projects running to make sure that each and every club achieves their goal, their set goals. Each club would set different goals. So as I'm saying, you might not need to have eight new members now because you've already had 3 others in the first month of the year. You want to work on 5, that's your goal. The goal can be different, but my encouragement to us all in the room is to make sure that we challenge ourselves, we make this project and build those 3 teams to help us build our membership as a club. I hope I've spoken to somebody, I've challenged somebody, and just in the chat, I will stop sharing my video. Just in the chat, just share with me if you are willing to take up the challenge to build membership in your club. Just say yes for me in the chat. I don't see anybody willing to. Okay, thank you, Michael. I'll be looking out for Global Youth Building membership there at the club. Yes, AD Faria, I see you, Francois. I see you there. Well done. Thank you, everyone. And Mr. PR Manager, I'm not sure whether I'm taking questions or you will address any questions that might arise. This is the presentation that I had for today.
Thank you, Liza. And that was a great presentation. Congratulations. Congratulations to all that are here. Congratulations to all that are taking up the challenge to say, I am going to take up this membership building challenge for our club. Liza, you are going to stick around. I will help you facilitate the questions, but you are going to stick around to take the questions and answer them. Thank you for that great presentation. I also took out something from it. And like I say, we always learn something in Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your time where you ask questions. Liza has got 10 minutes to answer your questions so that you can be able to add those 5 new members, 10 new members, or even get your club to charter strength. And if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand. We would love to hear your voice at this time. For questions, please raise your hands, your virtual hands. There we go. Simalumba. Simalumba, I'm going to take you first, then I'm going to take Valentine. Simalumba, go ahead. Tell us which club you come from, and then you ask your question.
Thank you very much. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I am from the Professionals Club all the way in Namibia. And my question for you, Liza, is how does one go about not overloading guests with information? Because as a Toastmaster speaker, I've realized even during presentations, you don't want to overload your audience with so much information that they don't know what is important and what isn't. And from my own experience, most people only remember 1, 2, maximum maybe 3 things that you present. So is there a sweet spot that we can hit, especially as a VPM? Is there a sweet spot or a nice round number that one can focus on in terms of information sharing for the guests?
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Valentine.
Would you like me to take another question? Then you can answer both of them. Did you write it down, Liza? Or you prefer?
I prefer answering one question at a time.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Valentine, for that question. Very important question. I'm one of those people that have a very short attention span, so I don't want to be overloaded with information. But the way the open house agenda has been set up for us, we have a template that we need to follow. It's made in such a way that you are giving as much information, but in a way that people can easily digest it. Somebody talks about their personal experience, somebody then talks about the organization in just 3 minutes. It's not a lot of time that we are spending as we're doing the open house. So the way I've seen it, the way the agenda has been structured, it says that the information is given to the guests gradually, and some will, I know they won't get all of it, but they have something that will stand out for them. Some might even just like the way we do our feedback session. Some would just like to know, oh, so my life has been changed because I'm a Toastmaster. They might just pick up that. So the way the agenda is structured is such that the information gets to, I feel the people that worked on that template agenda did very well. It's only an hour, so it doesn't feel so much. And so much is happening in that hour. You feel there are interactive sessions that are there. As I said, it's important to have those interactive sessions. People like also taking part in the meeting, even in the evaluations. So it's so exciting, and I feel it works if you follow that agenda, unless if you then bring somebody to a normal, what if the guests, if you don't do an open house, you do a normal meeting, they might get lost somewhere there in the meeting and not know what's happening. But the way we've structured the open house is such that we use less of our Toastmasters jargon so that we don't confuse our guests. We then ease them into the VPPRs and DTMs and so forth, but not in the open house meeting. We address each other just by first names. We don't say Mr. PR Manager, we don't say Mr. President. It might confuse them. They will then just come into the mix. As a VPM, I was a VPM my second year of Toastmasters. Ask questions. ask the guests questions, ask them why they're here, ask them what stood out for them, and then zero in on that area that they particularly like, so that you don't give them, there's a lot of information I know, but just give them what they need for that particular instance, and then they will build on the information as they grow in the journey. I don't know, Becky, if I've managed to tackle that well.
You've really answered it. And Tsepiso, who was the president of a top club last year, will go deeper into that, Simalumba. Do not worry. But Liza has given you an overview. We've got a program, we've got an agenda that works. That gives enough information for people to take a decision. And now we go to Valentine Sasa, president of, okay, she will introduce herself. Tell us where you come from and ask your question.
All right, thank you, Becky, and good morning to our fellow Toastmasters, and thank you, Lisa, for a wonderful presentation. My name is Valentine, and I'm the president for Accelerators Toastmasters Club. My question is based on the team which need to do the follow-up and the pre-preparation. So it's based on the budget, because some people are willing to assist, but due to financial constraints, like they are not able to call or follow up with them. So how do you work on financing them? Do you perhaps include the budget on your membership fee, and how do you also balance it with the membership amount? Because sometimes when you add this so many things, you also scare people in terms of the amount of membership fee. My second question is, I think it's the same, kind of similar with the first speaker regarding the information. So we had a new member. We managed to recruit the member, but when coming to orientation, the member felt like, this is like another course or a very difficult module because of base camp training and icebreaker. Like, I felt like she was overwhelmed, and later felt like, no, I think I'm not ready to do this. So how do you also make sure that you do not scare them during orientation period, especially when they just joined? Thank you.
Liza, before you answer that question, can we hold the second question back, because that's another masterclass in itself? Maybe we need a masterclass on orientation. Let's just deal with the question on membership, which is a great question, Sasa. Sorry, Valentine. We've had those instances where people feel, ooh, this is a bit too much during orientation. And then they're like, I've got a university course that I need to finish. I cannot be doing this as well. So it is a very critical question. I am able to answer that question on the side, but today let's just focus on membership building. Go ahead on the first one.
Thank you, Becky. My understanding of the question is, how do we cater for follow-up costs? Am I correct?
Correct.
How do we cater for follow-up costs? Right. My suggestion is, yes, it could be difficult depending on which club you're coming from or even the members that you've got. I would suggest a basic WhatsApp call would be a cost-effective way to connect with our guests. If we are not able to do that, I'm sure as a club we can find ways of raising funds towards that. We have a few ways of raising funds. Becky, correct me if I'm wrong. A club can do a speechcraft to build up funds for the club, so that for instance, when we do need to have these kind of expenses to follow up our guests and trying to convert them into members, we are well resourced as a club. We can even reach out to even some of our club members that we know can support us in terms of resources to follow up. I'm not sure what other strategies we could put in place, but I know wherever there's a will, there is always a way. Becky, if you can back me up on that one.
Definitely, wherever there is a will, there is a way. I wish Tsepiso was talking on this, because last year when we grew President Club to to, I think we added 16 new members in 1 week. And we had to figure out where we're going to get the funds. And we had some fundraising ideas that we worked on. And we had to dip into the President Club's account to get those funds so we can run this project. But what happens is, I think you've also got an idea. With the membership that we got, we were able to get back some of that money. So wherever there is a will, there is a way. You can talk to your treasurer and maybe come up with creative ways. There was Valentine, I hope we've answered your question. And then there was one more question. There was one more hand. I don't see it anymore.
Yes. I see something in the chat.
Come again?
Yes, Nerissa, I was raising my hand.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Nerissa. This is the last question for Liza.
Thank you. My question is, I am launching a new club, and that is the major reason why I attended this training. And I do have leads of people who want to join, but my target, my passion, what drove me to open this club is I'm a stay-at-home mom, and a lot of ladies, when they get married and start giving birth, they tend to shelve their own personal development, and their confidence really goes under the bus. So looking at my target market, it's people that won't be able to, the moment I tell them the figure, then already they are intimidated that, okay, so we are not meant for Toastmasters. So my question is, I'm selling this idea that they need to grow, they need to develop themselves, they owe themselves that development. But then you realize that you're talking to somebody who will not be able to pay 1,000 rand towards this thing. How best can I tackle that? Should I go the Gammason Trust way for all the 20 members?
Thank you, Nerissa. Becky, I'm not sure what the Gammason Trust does for a limit in terms of members for one club. You could, would it be all 20 members that are not able to come up with the funds? Structure.
Let me deal with this question on the very last segment where we close, because I'm going to talk about how to overcome objections. That is an objection. When someone says, I want to get started, but I don't have the money, that is an objection, and we are able to deal with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Stuart, I'm going to give you a chance to ask this one question, and then we are going to—
Thank you very much. I'll be fast, 20 seconds. Where do we find the open house? Is it on the Toastmasters website? Where do we get the template? Where do we find further guidance? Because you have mentioned about it in brief, but where can we get the expanded version?
Becky.
Fantastic. That is a great question. I would ask you to reach out to your area director at the moment. Your area director will be able to find some of those resources. Use the area directors. They're there for a reason. So if you don't know where to find anything, call your area director. Going to the Toastmasters website and typing template for open house, you would be able to get, not on the Toastmasters website, go to Google and look for it. You might be able to find something, but we found something that works for us here in the southern of Africa. That works for us, that speaks to our audience. So if you reach out to your area director, they will be able to find it for you, Stuart. And
we are having a session.
That goes for everything else. If you are trying to get a certain resource and you can't find it, reach out to your area director.
And we are having a session on that this morning, hey, Becky, on the actual event, the open house event.
Definitely, we are going to have that session.
All right, so
fantastic.
I think that's it from me.
Let's give Liza a rousing round of applause. It's still early in the morning. A rousing round of applause. You can unmute yourself and make some noise. You can unmute yourself and before
Thank you very
leave,
much,
I
Liza.
want,
Thank
like I
you.
said, we want to make
Thank
this
you.
we want to make this a session where we really do something. I would like for you to reach out to all the people that you want in your PR team now. Say, guys, we are going to do an open house to add 5 new members. Let's get the PR team. VPPR, may I see your hands? VPPRs, please raise your hands. Fantastic. VPPRs are here. Reach out to people that you want in your PR team now. Right now, as I'm talking, I want you to send a WhatsApp and say, hey, I want you in my PR team for our next open house. For our next open house, I want you in our PR team. So let's start forming those teams. VPM, reach out to your people now and say, hey, I want you to help me close deals after our open house right now. Send that message right now. And as you get responses, please put it on the chats. Now, when our next speaker comes in, as you get responses, please put it on the chats that I've got 2 people on my team. I've got 1 person on my team. I've got 3 people on my team. As those responses come through, I would love to see that on the chats because we want results after this webinar. After this workshop, we want results. Kumeza, I see your hands. Matsie, I see your hand. Please write that question down and then you will get a chance to ask it. Ladies and gentlemen, she is the current reigning top division who was leading Division Z last year. She was a division director and she did exceptionally well to get all her clubs to charter strength, all her clubs to be distinguished. She is currently working as with a club growth team, helping people to start clubs. So who was that? Who asked that question on starting clubs? This is a person you need to talk to now, right? And today, she is going to share with us how to get more than 50 people or 50 people to your next open house. How to get 50 people to your next open house. Ladies and gentlemen, who am I talking about? She is already on stage. I'm talking about Madam Future Moyo, DTM. Go ahead, Future.
Thank you very much, Becky, the fresh DTM from the box. Thank you so much. I'm still enjoying the title of being called a DTM. And I know that this title does not just, you are not handed this title, it's a title that you earn. So a very good evening, a very good morning to everyone who is currently connected on the call. And I'm so excited because we have 52 people right now on the call. I want to find out from the people who attended this event, what made you commit to be part of this event? Kindly type it on the chat box. Let me know what really drove you to want to be part of this event. What attracted you? I'm looking at the chat box, looking forward to see at least responses. What made you want to be part of this event? Am I audible? Because I'm not seeing a response, so I'm now getting a bit worried. Oh,
the response.
Okay. I want growth for our club. My club is struggling with membership. DDM Future, I want to learn more on how to convert prospective guests to members. Recruitment training. Want to help our club grow, to formulate great strategies, to be able to convert leads into members. Oh my goodness, wow. So from what you've shared with me already, I have my first point that I would encourage you as a team to consider when you host your next open house. So in order for you to attract 50 people, there are a number of things that you can potentially do. So right now, you were attracted because of this topic that has been mentioned, a topic that is like banning, that really wants you to act, that really challenges you to say, let me sign up and be part of this class. So if you are hosting your open house, look for a catchy topic that will attract your prospective guests. So you need to identify what is the market out there looking out for. That's the first thing. If you identify that, that's number one. That's a number one tool that will allow you to attract as many people as possible. I see the information is flowing. Someone says information is always new. So from what I've gathered so far, most people, what attracted them to this event, number one, was the topic. So I would say, what type of audience do you want to attract to your club? Looking at that particular audience that you want to attract to your club, ask yourself, what are their pains? What are their needs? How best can I satisfy that need? I'm a member of a club called Dream Achievers Toastmasters Club. We hosted an amazing open house that attracted an estimate of almost 50 people. And the subject that we chose to use was, how best can you monetize your speaking skill? How best can you make money out of your speaking skills? Remember, we're Toastmasters. We have these skills. We have actually have it. We have these skills, and we are having people who are being paid speakers because of Toastmasters. So we then identified our people around us. Most of them want to make money. With COVID out there, they're looking for other means of making money. And we as Toastmasters, we have the tool or the means that can allow them to make money. So I would challenge you, for your next open house, make sure that the topic itself is catchy, is attracting them as the poster is being shared. And then the other thing, the magic that really continues to do so well in most of the division, that did well in our team when I was division director, because I don't want to step in my division director's toes right now, Madam Liza. So what worked for us, the other tip that I would give you is identify an influencer in your community. Who is an influencer in your community? And then also find a way to map that influencer to the topic that you are talking about. So for us, the club, as a club, Dream Achievers, we identified the topic, monetizing your speaking skill, right? And then we looked in our community where I come from. There are a number of paid speakers. There are a number of people who are doing so well. They are earning from speaking, and we approached them. They already possess an amazing network. They already have people that that follow them. And when we approached them, we said, may we please at least have you speak at our event. We will do whatever it takes to publicize you in all the district. We will do whatever it takes to publicize you in all the Toastmasters Zimbabwe platforms that we have. People will get to know who you are, and in return, with you, we all know that if people know what you do, they are likely to buy from you. They are likely to buy whatever you are offering. So for us, we have a newsreader already in the Toastmasters space. We also have an influencer who is being a paid speaker who commands an audience. We approached the two of them, and that combo did magic for us. A newsreader and someone who's already a paid speaker, the topic itself already was a crowd puller. Then we went on to advertise our event way before the time. So you have that PR event about to come. Please don't wake up and say, I want to do an open house next week, and you start preparing flyers now. You've heard from Liza the team that is needed. You have a full month for you to get to becoming the SMECO Distinguished Club. Start now to plan for an event that is 3 weeks, like 3 weeks from now. Finalize your open house date, or don't wait for the last minute. So another winning formula is advertise your event before. Just to recap, the topic itself, the people that you put on that poster, they need to be people that attract the right audience for you. And you also need to advertise the event way before time. How do you advertise? We have Beggy, Sisa, and the PR team willing to give us an opportunity to do leads generation. So that powerful. Maybe before I move to the leads generation, the flyer design leaders it means a lot. The how the flyer is laid out, the quality of how the flyer is set up. I would say sacrifice and get a professional graphic designer just for that particular open house. When you get a quality poster out there, already the poster speaks volumes for you. It's attracting people that are serious. It's attracting people that really know what they are doing. But if you just prepare one of those awkward flyers, trust me, you will not be able to attract the potentials. So quality of the flyer plays a vital role. The Dream Achievers had to make sure that they are getting a professional designer to design a poster that has 2 influencers, and the topic itself was speaking volumes, was speaking to the audience that they wanted. And then moving on, get that leads generated way before time. I've indicated that. Then another area that you then need to do to maximize, to get as many people as you would want, I would say get that flyer being posted by the influencers on their platforms, the people who have the networks, who have the people that are already following them, who want what you have to offer. So if you can ask the influencers to post for you, they will definitely continue to attract the audience. I see Caroline is commenting. I believe you are taking notes, and you will definitely apply it in your next PR event. And then also get the influencers to do a TikTok video. So when we had Miss Norma do the event, the market on our platform, she did a TikTok video and she put this Bugatti song and says, guys, we are going to be sharing on how to monetize the speaking skill. She's already monetizing the skill. People who follow her know that's what she does. That was a crowd puller. So I have a lot to share, but I don't have much time. So I would, at this juncture, request us to focus on the topic that we put, or as the theme. We focus on the people that we put on that poster, identify quality people that are in your space. If you are a speaking club, identify people who are already doing what you want and utilize that. If you are a women's club, find how to answer the needs. If you're a digital marketer or you're a professionals and entrepreneurs club, look for professionals in your industry and get them to be guest speakers who have an amazing audience on social media. Also market the event way before, and also get a quality poster and give it your all. Lastly, work as a team. As EXCO, it's not the PR's responsibility to bring in 5 new members. It is my obligation as a member. It is your obligation as the EXCO member. So work as a team. If you tackle this approach as a team, everyone is going out there to invite as many people as they want, to invite as many people to be part of your event. Trust you me, the event will have the 50 people that you are looking for. The icing of it, people have been kept indoors. At this juncture, they need an opportunity to bond and be together. I would challenge you, if you haven't started doing hybrid meetings, your open house, let it be a hybrid setup where it has people that are currently at the venue, and it also has people that you use the hybrid setup. Becky and the team will be able to teach you how it's done. Having said this, sincere apologies, I have to drop off the call. I have other business that I need to attend to. I know Becky will be able to respond to all the questions that you have. At this juncture, I will hand over back to Becky. I hope you benefited from the session. Enjoy the rest of your day. Over to you, Becky.
Please unmute yourself and make some noise for Future Moya for all those nuggets. You can unmute yourself, it's all right. I don't want that. Yes, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
Thank you so much.
Future, I hope this is your first speech as a DTM, right? After you become DTM.
Thank you, Tim. I have to leave. Over to you, Becky.
Thanks a lot, Future. And that was mouth-watering nuggets that you can use to grow your club. That some PR exercises to help you attract as many people as possible. I've got another speaker that is going to teach you how they got 100 people on their open house. This was an in-person open house, how they got more than 100 people. But I'm happy to take your questions right now on what Future spoke about. And I will take hands because I want to hear voices. I don't want to be the only one that is speaking. I will take hands. Simiso, go ahead.
Thank you, Becky, and a very good morning to you all, fellow Toastmasters. Just a quick question. DTM Future mentioned that we get an influencer. Now, do we have to limit this to a Toastmaster, or it can be anyone in our spheres or in our area that is a public speaker or someone we know will draw the membership at our open house? Thank you.
Wow, that's such a great question, Simiso, and thank you for that question. Does it have to be a Toastmaster, the influencer, does it have to be a Toastmaster, or can it be someone that that is not a Toastmaster, but that we can maybe connect to and get them in our event? It definitely doesn't have to be a Toastmaster. If it is a Toastmaster that has got some influence, even better, because most of the time they won't even ask anything in return. Toastmasters have got this giving heart. They will definitely come and get people on your guest. But it doesn't have to be a Toastmaster. If it's someone that can draw the crowd that you are looking for, go ahead. I mean, there was a time when we started Accelerators Toastmasters Club, we had Mamuketi Pageng, who was a university chancellor at that time. I think now she is, or she was a vice chancellor at that time, something. But we were able to attract a lot of academics in that club. If you go to that club, there are many academics, and the reason there are many academics in that club is because of the guest speaker that we called. And we knew that she would draw a big crowd because she's got a big Twitter following. She's got a big LinkedIn following. I've never seen her on Facebook, but we knew she would draw the right type of tribe and the people that when we talk about being committing or putting money or committing, or what's the word I'm looking for? Irokam. When we were talking to people that when we talk about committing to your personal development, they will definitely do so. So it doesn't, to answer your question in a very short sentence, it doesn't have to be a Toastmaster. But preferably you want someone that will draw the crowd that you want. Simiso, have I answered your question? If I have, just give me a thumbs up. Is Simiso still on the call?
Thank you. You have, Becky.
Fantastic. Howard, go ahead.
Thank you, Becky Sisa. There was a point in time when Future Moyo just spoke about lead generation and she mentioned your name. Just to give just a little bit of background, we're really trying to, as an in-person club, we're trying to attract people within the vicinity that we are at. So I don't know, can you maybe comment a little bit on that? Are you able to assist us with lead generation?
Definitely. We are able to assist you with leads generation. Howard, I will ask you to reach out to your area director once again, right? We have sent them an example of how to prepare a poster for leads generation. And then we go on LinkedIn and Facebook to run leads generation. And most of the time, the people that we attract to, when we do leads generations are people that are already looking for Toastmasters. So it's very simple to give those people a call and say, hey, you responded to this, and we've got an event at such and such a time or such and such a date, and would love to see you in that event. So definitely we can do leads generation for you, but there is a particular way in which you have to create a poster that is for leads generation. Just to give you an overview, so you will say the name of your club, where your club is situated. If you've got a niche that you're looking for, you can say, hey, this is who we are looking for, and then maybe mention 4 or 5 benefits that they can get from being part of your club. You will have a contact details of who to contact, the number, and email addresses of who to contact, and the days of your meeting, or your meeting days. If you're meeting every first Monday of the month, or every first and third Monday of the month, you mention there in your poster, then you send it to your area director or your division director. They will send it to us, and we'll run leads generation for you. And once we get those leads, we'll download them. You'll get them as an Excel sheet. Then you can follow up on those leads. But please follow up, because when you get the leads while they're still hot and excited, you want to make those calls. You don't want to wait till late before you make those calls. Right. Howard, have I answered your question?
Excellently. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right. I'll take one more question. I'll take one more question. Okay. It means either Future was very, very, very clear, or she was confusing. If she was clear, please give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up on that one. Fantastic. So let's talk about what are you going to do now after that talk that Future gave. Please put it on the chat and tell me, what is your club going to do now? And especially VPPRs, what are you going to do after this talk? What is it that you're going to do? What action are you going to take? Let me see it on the chat. I'm sure some of you are still typing. She was very clear. Fantastic. Practical informative nuggets. Thank you, DTM Future. Thank you, Simiso. What are you going to do now, right now? Let's see it on the chats. Utilize the media a lot. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand Shona Emson. Yet. I don't understand Shona yet. Emson. Start planning. Start planning. Tracy, I'm interested in that. What are you going to start planning? You may unmute yourself and say something, Tracy.
A very good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, Peggy Sisa. My apologies. I'm done with sinuses, but yeah, I hope you can hear me.
We can hear
So
you
we're going to
loud
start
and
planning for an open house and an in-person meeting, because I've realized that a lot of people are Zoom fatigued. Well, let me speak for myself and my club. So our old venue is no longer accepting people to have in-person meetings. And we've been discussing between the ex-core that, so how best can we tackle this? Because we want to host an in-person in September, something that we've been talking about. But I think now after this talk from Future, I think we're going to actually be deliberate about looking for a venue between now and the 1st of September, so that we get a venue quickly. In terms of social
media
and also engaging.
Keep talking. I can see you are still talking, but we lost
extra
you.
Little touch. Sorry.
I can see that you're still talking, but we lost you a bit there. You are still
Okay,
saying in terms of social media.
All right. So I was saying that I think it will be powerful and very imperative that we engage a professional, because there's someone who's been doing this for a very long time. And when we share ideas with them, they can also give us information,
Fantastic.
also help us see things in a different light. Whereas when you are within, thinking inside the box, in quotes, please don't be offended, you're limited, because also there's the pressure to deliver and everything. But when you engage someone who is outside of the box, the view is definitely different. So in your plan, taking into consideration the venue, the crowd, the type of crowd you want to pull, and also having the designer design something that is very powerful. I think it works. So thank you very much, Future. Over to you, Basis.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. And Future said a very interesting thing, or a very important thing, that if you're going to run your event, you want to give it time so that you can be able to get those leads. If you want those 50 people, start planning now for an event that is happening 2-3 weeks down the line. So I would encourage every one of you right now. When I say right now, I mean right now, 0944 CAT, Saturday morning. Right now, as I'm talking, go to your EXCO WhatsApp group and say, when is our open house? And choose a date right now. Right now, as I'm talking, choose a date for your open house. I see Tracy, they say they are planning. Yes, now we are planning. Let's choose a date for the open house and say, we are running an open house on such and such a day. Then you can start looking for, the VPPR can start looking for either a graphic designer, or you can even, if you are able to create that quality poster, start creating that quality poster now. Then you can start those that leads generation right now. Who is doing it right now, or who has done it? Whoever has done it, please put it on the chat and say done. We've got a date. Or even better, let me put it this way: as soon as your club has chosen a date, put it on the chat and say, our open house is on such and such a day. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Stuart. Who else has already put up a message? Stuart, as soon as you've decided the 14th September combined with the 45th anniversary, which club is that, Annie? 17th September, Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. 14th, 17th, done. Edith, you are done. Fantastic. Let's see. Who else will be running an open house very soon? 20 September, Kundai Benura. Can we do area open house? That's a brilliant idea. Yes, it can be done. There are just a couple of logistics that you have to deal with if you do an area open house, but definitely it can be done. Benoni Toastmasters, 14 September. Open house on 15 September. That's Simalumba. Which club is that, Simalumba? 28 September, pro relations. 28 September might be slightly a bit late to get the Smedley Award. 28 September might be slightly late, but yeah. Thank you, Maringi, for that. Kidiboni say 31 August. 31 August is the best time. And then 15 September, it's saying 14. Mr. VPM, 14 September, 14 September will work. That is Marinki from Pro Relations. 14 September, we've got an open house. Stable and Sound Minds, Tuesday, 30 August. I'm excited about all these open houses. If you can invite me in one of them, please invite me. I'll be, if I'm not booked already, I will definitely come. But 3 September, we evolve. Fantastic. I'm excited and I'm looking forward to seeing those open houses. And please share with us in the VPM group, VPPR group, President group, and tell us in our open house, we had so many people and we are following up with them. And as you follow up with them, tell us how many people have signed up. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call someone who was able to attract, who were able to attract 100 people in their open house. In fact, they had 300 people who wanted to come. They had to say, oh, guy, we can't get all of you in our room. Please wait for the next one. But in the meantime, we'll take the first 100 people. Who would love to have that problem where they tell people, don't come to our event? Who would love to have that problem? That's a fantastic problem, right? And I was amazed with the results they got. And they're going to take us through step by step how they got 100 people in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, please unmute yourself, make some noise, and help me welcome Clinton Middleton on the virtual stage, telling us how they got more than 100 people to respond for their event. Make some noise.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's go. Let's go.
Clinton, is your
Wow,
video on? Yes, I see it.
My video is on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Bekasisa, if you wouldn't mind giving me video sharing rights so that I can share my presentation.
You should be able to share. Let's see.
Okay,
Yes,
there we
should be
go.
able to share.
If you wouldn't mind just giving me a thumbs up when you can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar this morning. I'm really excited to be sharing with you a case study around the open house that we ran in our club, which actually happened as soon as last month. So it is fresh off the press, and we're very excited about the success of it. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is my journey with this open house. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Clinton Middleton. I'm the immediate past president of Fourth Dimension Toastmasters Club here in Bryanston, Johannesburg. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my story and why we ran the open house and how that turned out to be a very successful event for us. And I heard some individuals, or Bekasisa rather, talking about, or asking the question rather, about which clubs are running open houses. And I'm very pleased to see that there's quite a number of them. And for those of you who have not considered running an open house, I'm hoping my presentation today will help change your mind around that. So I'd like to open with a question and ask you if you would like 300 people attending your open house. And if you are attending this webinar this morning, I'm pretty sure that is a resounding yes. And if that is a yes, please do put it on the chat, because I'd love to see which individuals or which clubs are planning on running that open house. And the truth is, I'm going to be sharing with you the blueprint that we used to secure 300 RSVPs to our open house. And this resulted in 100 in-person attendees and a conversion rate of 10% to paid members. Now, those numbers would have been much higher if we had to have a hybrid or an online meeting. But the truth is, because we were having it as an in-person meeting, we could not accommodate more than that number of people. So the good news is that if you are planning on running either a hybrid or an online meeting, your numbers can be way higher than this. I'm going to be sharing with you the blueprint that we used to be able to secure that number of people as members for our club. Let me tell you a little bit about our reason for running an open house. The context that I can share with you is that as a club, we had a growth problem. So we had, during COVID, our membership numbers had dwindled to single digits. We had lost almost 10 members from our club, because I'm sure every club member that is on this call today can resonate with this, because COVID had a massive impact. And even though we had quality meetings, we had very low visitors to our meetings. And those visitors that did attend our meetings were just not converting into members. No matter what we did, we were not able to convert those individuals into members. And as a club exco, and as the president leading that club exco, we had simply run out of ideas of attracting new visitors into our club. And that picture there perfectly illustrates where our ideas had gone. They were no longer on our heads, and they were far away from us, and we had no idea what we could do to change that statistic, unfortunately. And then what happened was I attended an open house, the open house masterclass sessions a couple of months ago. And I heard about running an open house. And the truth is, because I've been a member of Toastmasters for a number of years, I'd heard about an open house, but I hadn't really considered running one until I attended those masterclass sessions. And I realized how effective a masterclass or how effective a open house could be to bring new individuals into your club. And I knew as the president that this was going to be our saving grace. And I went about rallying our exco behind this idea of the open house. For those of you who are not sure what an open house is, an open house is a fun, a casual event where individuals can attend a club meeting and meet members and really get a unique feel for the Toastmasters culture. And those of you who are wondering whether it's attending one of your existing meetings, it's not that. It's a very, very specific meeting that's been set up to ensure that those individuals that are attending it get that unique flavor, but get it in a condensed version, and ensuring that we highlight all the key attributes of what Toastmasters provides you as a potential member in Toastmasters. And these are some of the pictures from the event that we ran at Fourth Dimension Toastmasters. So running an open house, why you would want to do it is, one, you're either struggling with membership growth within your club and you really feel like you've tapped out all the ideas, all the options, and you have no idea what to do. Or two, you lack awareness of your club within your area. So either you're a new club, you've just been established and you're trying to grow those membership numbers, or two, like us, Fourth Dimension Toastmasters, who have been around for almost 20 years, we just were not able to grow that awareness, even though people knew about us and we were in a location that has been around for 20 years. We just did not have that awareness that was going to elevate us to bring people into our club. So there are 3 phases for running an open house. And I hope so far in my presentation, I've convinced you of the importance and why you would want to run an open house. But where do you start? And I'm going to be laying out the blueprint for exactly what it is that you need to be doing at each individual stage of the open house. And there are 3. So I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure if individuals could just mute themselves. So there's 3 phases, and there's prior to the event, and that's where we're going to talk about the agenda blueprint, your power team, the logistics involved in running the open house, some of the marketing, which is absolutely critical to ensuring that people are aware that you're running it, and then following up prior to the event, which I cannot overstate the importance of. Then when we get into during the event, I'm going to be talking to you how important it is just to follow the agenda blueprint, how to set a first good impression, and the importance of capturing details and actually ensuring that you're capitalizing upon that interest of individuals that want to join the club. And then post-event, the follow-up, again, the importance of following up, and as well as importance of the budget recon. So let's get into it. Firstly, the agenda blueprints, and this is something that we could probably spend 2 hours, if not longer, on going through this in detail. What I want to leave you with is that this is a tried and tested blueprint program. So as I mentioned, you're not running a Toastmasters, they're not coming in and joining one of your existing meetings, but you're following this agenda and this blueprint down to a T. So I'm very happy to share this after the call. I'm not going to be going through this in a tremendous amount of detail, but the important thing to remember is that this has been tried and tested, and it's something that you want to ensure that you follow down to a T. And you can see here, it's been geared towards a non-Toastmasters member by sharing some ideas around what Toastmasters is all about, where you have individuals that are coming in and giving you a good flavor of what Toastmasters has to offer. We have personal stories from Toastmasters members that have just joined so that people can actually put themselves in the shoes of that individual. You have a experienced program director. So that's an MC that's going to be responsible for taking individuals through the actual speaking part of the program, and ensuring that they keep that energy level high. And that's the important thing to remember, is that what this blueprint provides is ensuring that you keep the energy levels high from the start right to the finish, so that as soon as the program is done, people are literally asking you, where do I sign? What do I do to actually get part of this Toastmasters environment? Your power team is going to be comprised of your driver, and that's the project lead. So this is an individual that is essentially coordinating all the role players. They understand the agenda blueprint intimately. And this is my recommendation. Ideally, someone that is going to be running this as part of their level 5 HPL, because it counts as something that they can do as part of the project that they will be completing in Pathways. And it's just an added incentive. It's an added bonus for that individual that's coordinating the efforts, because it is a tremendous amount of work. You, of course, have your club exco and your members, and these are individuals that are included on the agenda and play support functions throughout the whole program, as well as ensuring that the event runs as smoothly as possible with some of the logistics. And then, of course, you have experienced Toastmasters. So these are individuals who are performing key roles on the agenda. So in our case, for example, one of the speakers that we had, which was an experienced speaker, he came in and he demonstrated what you can be after you've been part of Toastmasters for a number of years. The quality of his speech that he delivered was absolutely exceptional. And it was for that purpose, which is why we brought him in, for him to come in and show people the potential of what they can get to. And then at the end of the program, we had a lady who came in and really closed the sale for us. She was able to come in and really sell them on the benefit of joining Toastmasters. And again, these are experienced Toastmaster members. So I would encourage you, if you are running an open house, ensure that you tap into your network, lean in and speak to some individuals from outside of your club. Don't only rely on individuals within your club, because you want to be able to tap into the beautiful network that we have here in Toastmasters. In terms of logistics, the date, time, and location, so ensure that you confirm those details as soon as possible in order to start the planning and advertising. You don't need to have all your plans finalized before you do that. You want to make sure you give yourself enough time to actually advertise and get the interest of individuals to join your open house. And then in terms of the budget, that's to cover catering. So in our case, as I mentioned, we had individuals come in to the in-person event. If you're having it online, you wouldn't need to worry about the catering costs. The important thing to budget for if you are having it online is the marketing costs. And in that case, that would be the advertising spend that you're putting towards the advertising of the club poster on social media platforms. Some of the ways to cover your club can cover costs is to have a raffle on the day to cover some of those costs. And what we did was we did have a raffle, and the Exco, what they provided was they donated some small items that we then raffled on the day. And we ran, the raffle was about 10 Rand, and I think we collected about 1,000 Rand. So it is a way to collect, it is a way to recoup some of those costs. You can charge per head if you are having this in person. However, this is not advised, and I'll get to why I don't think that is something that I would recommend on the next slide. And then in terms of the last point in regards to logistics is centralized communication. So what we did was we created a WhatsApp group, and we included the power team, all the individuals that I mentioned on the previous slide. In that WhatsApp group, it was just seamless communication, so that whenever there was an update, whenever there was something that needed to be, people needed to be aware of, we included it on that group, and it was just very seamless. In terms of our marketing, so this was our advert that we used, and interestingly, this was the second ad. We actually had 2 ads running, and Bekasisa provided a lot of input on this ad, and I would have to say that the reason our marketing efforts were really successful was due to his input. So you'll see here that it was a very clean, uncluttered ad. This messaging that we had appealed to the target audience. So in our case, we were looking for individuals between 25 to 35, and it appealed to those individuals. We were looking for individuals that were up and coming from a career point of view, entrepreneurs, and I really believe that the messaging spoke quite prominently towards them. You can see the Toastmasters branding, very clear, uncluttered visual. These beautiful people are actually members of Fourth Dimension Toastmasters Club. So we didn't have to, and that's the key thing, you know, when you go onto stock sites, chances are you're not going to find really good quality images. And I just found that using these individuals really spoke to the type of people that we wanted to attract into our club. It spoke to a non-Toastmaster, so you can see their free public speaking event. And just to, in terms of the cost, as I alluded to on the previous slide, we ran an ad, which was the first ad that we ran, and we were charging 50 Rand a head. And we got no interest. There was no one that signed up. As soon as we changed it to a free public speaking event, we saw immediate increase in the numbers. And when I say increase in the numbers, it went from 0 to 1, and then it just increased from there. So we had absolutely no interest when we were charging per head, even though we had a lot of people clicking on the ad and we had a lot of people visiting the Quicket site, which I'll get to on the next slide, but there was no interest. So something to consider, especially if you are running an in-person event. I think with online, typically you are indicating that it is free. If you are running in person, I would strongly urge you not to charge for it and see how you can recoup the costs with some of the examples that I provided. And then lastly, it was adaptable to a mobile format. So this was an ad that was run on social media. However, it was also shared on WhatsApp, and it was very clear, very easy. You would be able to see it. It contained all of the details. So it was very much optimized for individuals that were viewing it on their mobile phone. Our marketing funnel, very, very simple. We had paid ads via Facebook and Instagram that led you to a Quicket landing page. And for those of you who don't know what Quicket is, it's a platform which you can use to capture individuals' details. A lot of individuals actually use it, both companies and entrepreneurs, and it's free. And that's important because we were trying to contain the costs. But what this provided us, at least, was a centralized location in order for us to collect attendees' details. Absolutely critical for us because, as I mentioned, we had a cap on the number of people that we could accommodate in the venue. So in this way, we were leading people to Quicket. And then as soon as we reached the cap, we closed it off and we took no more registrations. So critical, following up prior to the event. And this could be either email, telephonic, or WhatsApp follow-up. And this is crucial for ensuring attendance, because especially when it's free, people will RSVP for so many things and they will just not attend it. They'll forget about it. So what we did was all of the individuals who had RSVP'd, we assigned ExCo and individual members within our club to follow up, because as there was a lot of people that RSVP'd. So we shared the load. So we gave a certain number of individuals, a certain amount of people to follow up, and they could either do this via email, telephonic, or WhatsApp, but we ensured to do this 24 hours before their event. And what we also did, which was something that I hadn't thought of, and our new president actually suggested this, which was great, because what she did was she created a WhatsApp group for everyone who had RSVP'd. And we changed the access to admin only. And what that provided us with was an ability to communicate with all of those guests. And there were some changes that happened, and we were able to have one centralized place so that we didn't have to send 100 different messages. We had one central place, and we updated guests with any changes that we had. And what we did, important, is just be considerate. So we posted this on the group and just said, you've been added to this group because you're part of the open house. It's only going to be with regards to Fourth Dimension communication, and we wouldn't be spamming you with any unnecessary details. So we gave them an opportunity to leave the group if they needed, if they wanted to. None of them did. So again, a great free way to communicate with those individuals. Okay. And then in terms of during the event, follow the agenda blueprint. It is down to this. Do not overcomplicate it. You've already done all the hard work of finding all of the individuals that are going to be part of the agenda. Do not overcomplicate it. Follow the script and just ensure that the individuals who have committed to attending and participating are involved in it. A bonus tip is having individuals that could assist should someone fall out. Plan for the worst and hope for the best, because there was an individual that we had, an experienced speaker that was coming in to blow everyone away. And unfortunately, due to a change in his schedule, he was not able to attend the event. So fortunately, we had a plan B. That individual came in and he did an absolutely phenomenal job, as I mentioned. So just ensure that when you do have your agenda roles filled, that you do have someone just in case someone does pull out. Set a good first impression. I think we all know within Toastmasters how important it is to set a first good impression. And this is absolutely crucial when you're getting individuals that are coming in, experiencing Toastmasters for the first time. Make sure if you're having an in-person event, you have directions and signage, very easy for the individuals to find your event. The room is set up before time. You're not doing last-minute preparations. We did this an hour before, and we ensured that when people were coming in, we were meeting and greeting. We had individuals that were communicating with everyone and ensuring that we made everyone feel welcome. We set a good first impression so that when they sat down, they already had smiles on their faces, looking forward to the meeting that was to come. Capitalize on the interest and excitement. At the end of the event, you will have individuals that want to just sign on the dotted line. Make sure that you have membership forms there for individuals that want to literally join. And if possible, have a speed point at the event to secure payment. We unfortunately did not. And I really believe that that was a missed opportunity for us, because people were really, really excited and they wanted to join. And we were able to convert quite a few of those after the event. But I do believe that if we had a speed point after the event, we would have had we would have had a lot more individuals that would have joined. If you are having an online meeting, then what's suggested is that you have breakout rooms where individuals can ask any further questions with regards to Toastmasters, or they're very keen to join, and make sure that you send them that invoice straight after the event. Post-event, this is ensuring that you are following up with those individuals within 24 hours of the event. And this is a script that you can follow. Very happy to share this again. Follow the script, and it literally walks you through how to communicate with these individuals, what they need to do, and how you need to have individuals that are speaking to them to ensure that you're capitalizing on that interest if you are converting individuals after that event. And then lastly, review. So do a budget recon, do a recon on all your expenses, look at what you spend from a marketing point of view, check your income from your raffle, if you do run one, and then complete a post-campaign report on the success of your open house, as I've done in my talk today. So that is a very summarized and succinct version of our open house event. I do apologize if I had to run through that quite quickly, but I hope that I've covered some of the key points, and I'm very happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Wow. Clinton, you over-delivered. You covered everything, and thank you for that. I'm sure there are a couple of questions. If not, we'll move on to the next one. But you definitely covered everything. From here on, everyone will know, I'm sure knows exactly what to do from the beginning to the end on how to get 100 people in your open house, and more than that, how to get those people to get started. Howard, I see your hand. Please go ahead. You can ask Clinton a question while he's still here.
Thank you very much, Clinton. Indeed, echo the sentiments that was highly detailed. So I actually don't have anything, any question about what you presented. And my only question is, I'm not into sales, and that stat that you had 100 people and 10 converted. I remember finding that so shocking. So, so getting used to that, Well, I just want to understand from your point of view, what did you do with the other 90? Because obviously if they attended, they are interested people. Maybe they were just not ready at the time. But I mean, just from your point, what do you do with the other 90?
Well, that's a great question, Howard. And I agree. I think it was probably a learning from our part, because we had a lot of individuals that attended the event and a lot of people that wanted to join, and we were able to capitalize on as much as we could have capitalized upon. Those individuals, we still have their details. So what we would probably do at some point during the Toastmasters year is check in with them and follow up with them, just send them an email and, indicate to them that they had attended the open house and if they have any further interest in Toastmasters. And that would be my suggestion of what you could do. Essentially,
I'm not sure if it's me or Clinton. Clinton, are you still there?
We're getting. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I apologize. I see my internet connection is unstable, so hopefully it doesn't go down again. But what I was saying was, we found the longer we waited to follow up with those individuals, the less inclined they were, the less interested they were. So my urge to you again, just to go with regards to my point around capitalize on the interest on the evening. If you do your job effectively, and if you follow the agenda blueprint, there's no reason why you won't have, those numbers wouldn't be even much higher than that. But what happened in our case was the date when we ran it was in July, and with the new exco, so it was a learning on our part as well. It was a new exco that took over, and they were already overwhelmed with all the responsibilities. So I would have rather run it earlier in the year, or later in the year when the exco were comfortable with their new roles and responsibilities. So unfortunately, what we put was a lot of pressure on the new exco, and to learn from my mistake. Don't do that. And rather the experienced exco that had already been in their roles for a couple of months, very comfortable with speaking to individuals, following up with guests, et cetera, we didn't do that, but it was a learning on our part.
I like your second part. Do it early, do it now, so that the new exco doesn't have to be under pressure. That's why this period now is called the golden quarter. So you do it now and get it over and done with. Then it will increase your membership next year. Now you have to deal with renewals and making sure that the people that are in are comfortable and they get to renew. Now, one of the things that you can do with the 90 people that didn't get started, remember you formed a WhatsApp group for the open house. You may ask them that, look, we are going to send you important information on this group. If you want to leave, it's okay, you may leave. But if you want to stay, we'll keep on updating you on important information. This is where now you send them motivational Mondays. You send them tips on public speaking. And when they realize that, oh, these people are giving me so much value before I'm a member, when I am a member, what more can I get? So you keep on feeding them value so that they stick around. In President Club, I remember when I was VPM, we had a group of guests that attended our event and never got started. But over the years, we've converted those people to become members. So let them stick around, or you can even send them emails. If your club has got newsletters, send them newsletters. If your club has got a motivational Monday or maybe if you've got an event, you are going to host a bigger event next time, you can send them some of those details. Kundai, I'll take your question. Kundai, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Becky. And thank you, Clinton. Sorry, I was about to butcher your name. That was very insightful. My question has to do with the registration part. Would you recommend Cricket as opposed to the Zoom platform? Like, can we use that? Because I remember we once hosted, it was an in-person open house, but we used the Zoom platform to do registration. Would you advise that, or it will look like somehow the online part is involved? So if you had to compare Cricket and Zoom. Thank you.
So we did look at that, and the reason why we used Quicket, if memory serves me correct, sorry, I didn't set up the technical aspects of it. However, one, we were running an in-person event, so we just felt like Quicket avoided that confusion around, okay, is it online or is it in person? And then secondly, I remember Quicket had some additional functionality that we were able to get. I can't remember the exact details. What I would suggest you do is just investigate the platform. As I mentioned, it's a free platform. So the setup of it was really seamless. It was a two-step process. So you clicked on the ad, you went through to this, you filled in your details, and that was done. They got a confirmation ticket. So it looked very formal. So I actually preferred that. In my opinion, I just preferred that. It felt very professional, and I'm not sure if Zoom offers that functionality, but I would urge you just to investigate the benefit of Quicket, and I didn't really see any downside to it. But again, going back to it, we did it because I wanted to avoid the confusion between it being an online versus a in-person event.
Definitely. And just to add on what Clinton is saying, Clinton, I've never thought of Quicket. That was a brilliant idea. I would have thought of a Google form, which works perfectly as well, or even Zoom. It works perfectly. But what Quicket does, it automates the system. Everything is automated. They will get a response and they've got a ticket. Now, when someone has got a ticket, they're like, oh, this is very special. I've got a ticket, so I've got to honor this invite because of a ticket. If you use Zoom, they will get the response and that's it. It's not like a ticket. If you use Google Forms, you might have to run those tickets manually to say, okay, let me provide them with tickets. But with Quicket, it's there. Then all you have to do is just to keep reminding them. I think that was a strike of a masterpiece that you did there. Thanks a lot. Aurelia, Stuart, may you please put your question on the chat? We are running out of time. Aurelia, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Becky Sisa, and thank you, Clinton, for such an informative topic. I'm just thinking, and I'm also trying to make sense of everything and just zoom deeper. You said that your club was not getting enough people. People were not coming in. I just want to get an understanding of then what was your topic, and how did you then also select the people that you invited to talk? What did they talk about? Because I'm just trying to get a deeper understanding on the whole theme and the whole vibe that was created within the open house.
So I just want to understand your question so I can answer it properly, Aurelia. Are you referring to a theme for the open house? Like, did we have a theme that the speakers then aligned to? Is that the question?
Yes, because I think earlier they talked about there must be a topic to address the audience. So I just want to understand what was for your open house, what was the topic that you had in order to attract your target audience? Because you said you specifically had a age group between 25 and 35 and etc. So for your open house, what was the topic? And then also, obviously, you had your own influencers or the guest speakers, and what were they basically? What was their topic as well in order to attract your audience to your club? It's just for my own interest's sake, because with the planning and all, just to have a clear.
Okay. No problem. So all right, so it's a two-part question. Essentially, the first part is that we didn't have a topic or a theme. So typically when you have Toastmaster meetings, there's a theme that all the speakers then align to. We didn't have that. What we had was we had an audience that we wanted to speak to, and that was the individuals that you mentioned between 25 and 35. That's simply because of the type of club that we are. That's the kind of demographic that we have within our club set. And we have entrepreneurs and individuals that are kind of up, going up in their careers, and that was the messaging that we then aligned to. So just speaking to individuals that would be in that frame of mind. So if you want to accelerate your career, and you want to use the platform of Toastmasters, i.e., improving your communication, improving your presentation, improving your sales skills, then this is the platform that you want to be on. That was kind of the overarching. It's not really a theme, but it's like the messaging that we aligned to. And then in terms of the speakers that were part of the agenda, there wasn't a topic that they were given, but you'll see on the blueprint agenda that what there is this is what you need to speak to. So you just need to be, for example, with the individual that was a very experienced speaker, he just needed to deliver a topic, any topic. But what it needed to be was either humorous or engage. It just needed to be entertaining. It needed to be engaging, rather, not entertaining. It needed to be engaging, and it needed to demonstrate, he's a very experienced speaker. So he was going to come there and he was going to blow them away. So I didn't say to him, you need to speak on this topic. I just said to him, listen, just come in there and just do your thing, do a great job. And I know you'll do a great job. I just want you to speak between 5 to 7 minutes and you can choose the topic. I wasn't specific to him. And then he just came in there and he did a phenomenal job. In terms of all the other speakers that participated, there was a brief for each of those individuals, and you'll see on the agenda blueprint, there's details there. So when you read the agenda, you'll get a good sense of what those individuals need to follow. But there's no topic or theme per se for the event. Not to say that you can't have a theme. Not to say that you can. If you do want to have a theme, you most certainly are able to do that. But we didn't in our case.
Fantastic. And thank you, Clinton. I know there are other questions or so many questions. You may put them on the chats. We will do our best to answer those questions as we roll on with our agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Clinton Middleton. Please unmute yourself and make some noise as we thank Clinton for all the value that he's brought to this webinar.
Yes.
And I would love you to tell me.
Thank you, Mr. Clinton.
Fantastic. What are you going to do? What are you going to do after this event? After Clinton's talk, what are you going to do in your club today? Now, please put it on the chats. Please put it on the chats. We are having a mayor for Egruloni as a guest of honor in our open house. Wow. And the theme is leadership in an action, not a position. Fantastic. And that will definitely work. I'm setting up the power team. Caroline is setting up the power team. Fantastic. And who, Francois, is it Francois? Yes, it is Francois. Share this information with my EXCO team and regroup again. Fantastic, Francois. And one more. What are you going to do now after this event? After this talk? Power team, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I know all of you are going out there and are going to do your power team. You are going out there to create, start your or prepare for your open house. And we are giving you all this information that is enough to get you results for your open house, because we are all about results. It's nice to say, to come here and have all these nuggets and say, hey, I was inspired here, but we need to do something to get those, to get the results that we want. And the results that you want are 5 new people. Just 5 new people in your club will definitely get your club somewhere, will definitely give your club that momentum that it needs to get to the next level, to even get to be distinguished or president distinguished. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want us to continue, please give me a thumbs up. If you want a 5 minutes comfort break, please raise your hand. If you want to continue, give me a thumbs up. If you want a 5 minutes comfort break, give me a raised hand. Okay, looks like people want us to continue. Okay, I see people are still excited. They want all this information. we are going to continue with our webinar or our workshop. Now, the next person I'm going to call on stage, I am particularly excited to bring her on stage because the reason she's a Toastmaster today, or she's a Toastmaster today, is because I was a VPM when she came to our club, and I use this very same skills that we are sharing with you today to get her started. And I've seen her grow with leaps and bounces from the first time she got started. 3-4 months after she got started, she became our VPE, did exceptionally well. Then she became our president, and now she is Area A2 director. As the president, what did she achieve? The club converted, is it 20 somewhat? Give me the number. Give me the number, Tsepiso.
It was 19.
19 new members in the year. And of those 19 members, 15 of them got started during an open house that we created. We became a top club with over 60 educationals that were posted. And right now she is Area A2 Director, Tshepiso Maja. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Tshepiso Maja. You can unmute yourself.
What an intro, Mr. Public Relations Manager. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. First of all, kudos to you for waking up this morning to come and get the nuggets that we'll be sharing with you. I'm already feeling filled up from hearing from Zivai, Future, and Clinton. And I feel like, you know what? I'm going to start today with my open house. And with that said, as Becky has mentioned, my name is Tshepiso, the past president of the Top Club in District 74. And I will be sharing with you about running a program. Please give me a thumbs up when you see my presentation on the screen. Are we good to go? Can you see my screen, Mr. PRM?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I will be sharing with you how to run a program. And a program, or rather, as Zivai has mentioned, how you need to put up a team together, and Future has mentioned how to get leads, for you to get people at your event. And Clinton as well has shared how they managed to get people. Now, this is like inviting people to your party. And when people come to your party, they either want to eat, dance, mingle, whatever it is. So you are hosting these people. People are not going to remember your invitation. They're not going to remember maybe the after party. They are going to remember the main event. Now, if this was a cake, if this whole thing is a cake, the program is the flavor, it's the softness, it's the freshness of the cake. And that is what I'll be sharing with you this morning. Before I start, I like the quote that says that if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. There is also a quote that says that when you do not plan, when you don't have a plan, you have nothing to fall back on. And in order for us to have a great successful event, we need to be intentional about it. We need to set a clear goal of what we want to achieve. And I like this video. I like this video because it shows that this is what we want to achieve. In our past year, when we had the open house, we realized that we needed to have 15 members for us to be a top club. That was our goal. We saw it. Like you seeing this video right now, we saw that ourselves achieving that. And everything that we did was for us to see that ball hitting the net. And I hope when you start as well, you will see your goal. It could be 5 members, it could be 10 members. Have that picture, visualize it, visualize seeing yourself, seeing that ball hitting the net and celebrating the moment. With every other thing that you would plan, you need to communicate. It could either be an event, it could be either be a relationship, whatever that you want it to be successful, there needs to be clear communication. And on this diagram that I've just shared here, I'm going to start with strong decision making, which is aligned to the goal that you have set. When you make a decision, you must then identify what resources will you need. Are you then going to have an open house? When will it be? As we've been sharing this morning, you need to be sure about what you want. And as well as you need to work towards the goal. Be more productive in doing that. Have a concise workflow. What we did is that we had a project plan. Our open house was in a space of 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, but we had a work plan. In 2 days, we need to have this and this out. We need to have, I'm also willing to share the work plan with you of how we had a flow. When should this could be communicated? When they've mentioned about leads, when do you want to send those SMSs? What time? Who will be sending them? Have a consistent work plan. And a strong business relation. By strong business relation, when you make a decision that you want to have this event, have people that will understand what we are here to do. We're not just going with the flow. We are intentional to sign up 5, 15, 19 members. And with that, you will have a better control. Another thing is that we are a professional work environment. We are Toastmasters. Let us have that image of the professional look of Toastmasters. Even the people that will be part of this project need to have that in mind. When they have that in mind, they will have better response. When I call Becky and say, hey, Becky, please be my Toastmaster of the evening, Becky must be effective in responding. That on its own determine how Becky will be able to participate in achieving our goal. And also, things don't always go according to plan, but we need to be efficient in our problem solving during the process. The past speakers have mentioned a lot about an open house. And this morning, I want to open ourselves up to not only an open house, but also to a public club, a scheduled club event. You might be planning your open house to be on the 14th of September, but before the 14th of September, you will have a club event. With that, you need to have an intentional approach about it. If you're going to have a club event, utilize that as well. Don't wait for the bigger event. Get some leads with your club events. If you can get a guest speaker, do that. I'll be sharing the program of that as well. And also the main thing that we are raving about, which is an open house. An open house needs you to have a robust marketing and planning strategy because you want to attract as many people as possible. Because you will be investing so much energy, time, and money on it, you better make it impactful. A decision has to be made. COVID had constrained us to be fully virtual. But now that we are warming up, we are now moving into in-person, and some of the clubs are going hybrid. With the virtual event, it's a bit controlled, if we could say, because people are now in their comfort of their zones, the comfort of their homes. They can come online and then leave the event. But in person, some are going to be stuck in traffic, some might show up late. So that is a decision that you have to when you make the decision, you have to consider such. Also, you can choose a hybrid event. If you choose that your club is going to be a hybrid club, you can then say, we're going to have a hybrid event. A hybrid event also has its pros and cons in terms of there is more resources that are going to be needed at the venue and in person. You're going to need data. People are going to have to drive. Clinton has mentioned that they needed to provide a light snack. So that as well has to be taken into consideration. Make a decision, because this also speaks to the poster that Future mentioned, that when you put a poster to say, we are doing a free open event, you need to put this as well on your poster. Is it going to be virtual, so that people know that they should look for a Zoom link on their poster? If it's in person, they should look at where the venue is so that they are able to plan to drive to that. And if it's virtual, they have an option to whether attend in person or at the venue. I will first start with the club events. This is a typical club event program. Actually all of us, we are familiar with it, but there are certain things that I would like to mention on this particular club event. The first thing is a theme. We get attracted to a theme. In a couple of days to come, it will be spring. You could say your theme is Spring Fiesta, or wear your favorite color to bring the spring hype. Bring a theme that people want to, that would make people want to associate themselves with your event. On the left-hand side, it's the venue, the time, and also the contact details, the club officers, the president, vice president, education, their names, and how can people reach them. Then with the flow of the program, what I also want you to take note of is, if you are going to have a hybrid event, the program has to indicate where will this role player be joining us from, so that it also helps the audience, it also helps the Toastmaster of the day of the evening to know where to expect this person to be coming from. Another thing that I want to highlight is that usually we have AHA counters, general evaluators, table topics, but if you to maximize your... Please mute for me, Mr. Master. There we go. Thank you. If you want to maximize your club event to be able to convert your guests to members, do not put too much of that in there. People are not going to remember general evaluation. People, yes, they might remember AHA counter, but is it really, really, really important on that day? I think not. So look at what you can take out of your program. A grammarian, yes, because as Toastmasters, we speak of good English, proper English, and we want people to be attracted to that. So look at the roles that you want to put there. Another thing is a variety of speakers. When you put your program down, don't have 5 icebreakers or a lot of speakers that are in level 3. Have a variety. Icebreaker, middle, maybe also a 4th level speaker. Another thing is that the Toastmaster of the evening must be someone that is a very seasoned member, that when all of this is happening, they are fully aware of the program. And also the time allocation, it is very crucial for you to have it there. I've highlighted here the guest speaker. This is something that we can maximize on. Usually on our club events, we don't have a guest speaker, but you can include a guest speaker. This also speaks to what has been mentioned before on crowd pulling. If you want to pull a crowd, use a guest speaker. Couple of days ago, we not days, couple of weeks ago at President Club, we hosted a guest, and that guest managed to pull us over 60 attendees to our event, simply because we've put a guest speaker at our normal club event. We didn't want to compromise having a normal club event, but rather we merged what might be like an open house and a normal club event. And I'm intentional of putting a guest speaker here at the end of the program, because some people come for that guest speaker. And when you put your guest speaker at the event, they are going to sit and wait and listen when we hear that that icebreaker, the timekeeper's report and the grammarian. Just when their energies are getting low, we hype them up with their guest speaker's speech. I've shared a couple of these that I will be sharing of what to do and what not to do when you want to convert members at your club's event. I like using the word intentional, because by being intentional mean that you are still going to be selective in how you want your program to run. As I've mentioned, preparation is key. You cannot plan this particular type of an event, plan a program the day before. It is going to throw you off. The minute the decision has been made to say that we want to see that ball hitting the net, we need to start working on the program as well. And by that, we need to have role players. I remember at our club at President, we believe that every member needs to have an opportunity to be a Toastmaster of the evening. Every member has to have an opportunity to be a timekeeper. I'm afraid this is not that particular type of an event. This is an event where we need seasoned members. If you don't have a seasoned member, then equip your members so that they are well aware of what their role entails. We might not have a briefing session, but the VPE that is responsible for this program needs to have a short meeting or a meeting with the role players to brief them of our goal, to make sure that they all understand what our goal is about this event. If you're going to be a timekeeper, use the appropriate backgrounds, visuals. If it is going to be visual, let them be aware. Come and test that timer. If you have a timer of switching the green, the amber, and the red, they need to be fully prepared prior to the event. And we need a backup role players pool. By this, it's the team that is not part of the program, but they are fully aware that if Tepiso falls off the course, Tepiso is late, I need to be fully aware and equipped to do that particular role. And as I've mentioned, to get those leads, we can have a guest speaker. Normally in our clubs, and I think maybe you could also put it on chat, that how long does your club events take? I've attended a 3 hours long club event. Unfortunately, this is not that type of an event. With that, you need to have an impactful, high energy event. And this also speaks to eliminating the general evaluator, eliminating the AHA counters, eliminating a lot of toasts as well. We wouldn't have the Toastmasters of the evening. I mean, toasting to Toastmasters International, toast to own choice, and loyal toast. No, 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 no. We don't want, people are not going to remember those. They're going to remember the organization that we are toasting to. And our event must be very flowing. With that said, if you have equipped your role players to say that, Tepiso, you're going to be a timekeeper, and as your timekeeper, when you're called on stage, you must tell us, why do we need to manage time in Toastmasters? How people will be managing their time as the role players, and how, and at the end, you'll be coming forth with your report. Let it be so flowing, effortlessly so. The beauty about the club event is that prior to the event, there will be guests that will be coming into the event, and also post-event, there will be members, guests that will be staying behind. This will give you an opportunity to engage them. And with virtual virtual type of an event, you can maybe, when before they join you have a chat with them. Hi, Tepiso, where are you joining from? Hi, Penny, is it your first time as joining Toastmasters? You know, engage with them, warm them up to the event. Of course, they are what not to do. You cannot change your Toastmaster of the evening on the day of your event. That is a drastic change to the event. If the person has not been briefed, because the Toastmasters of the evening or the day is the one that is supposed to support you in making sure that all the role players know what their role is. You cannot get that person the day before or on the day of the event. That is drastic. It's setting you up for failure. Do not rely on hope. Plan, plan, plan. I cannot overemphasize this. Tepiso might have been the Toastmasters of the evening. You cannot hope that Tepiso will do her best on that day. Engage her. Say, Tepiso, how are you doing? Are you well? Are you equipped? Can you do this role? Because we cannot rely on role playing. The long speeches part one. I've witnessed this in our past event where we wanted to have a seasoned speaker, but that seasoned speaker was doing a long speech. And that took 20 minutes. You are going to lose people's attention, interest. Some are going to fall on the call depending on your platform. So let us avoid. One other thing is a meeting recess. We like saying that let's take a body break. We'll come back in the next 5 minutes. This is not that type of an event. If you have a light snack and maybe it's there at the corner, it's smelling so divine, you just want to eat, grab a bite, wait until the end. This is 1 hour, 30 minutes. We can sacrifice that if you are in person. Or if you're online, don't take a body break. People will sneak out and take their own body break. You cannot afford to have that. People lose interest quickly. Now I'm going to touch on an open house program. An open house program is different from a normal club event program. With that said, we need an elite Zoom master. This Zoom master needs to be able to prepare breakout rooms, waiting rooms, Zoom people. We don't want people that will be unmuting and say, yes, I'm cooking, I'm coming, I'm still, yeah, we don't want that. Zoom masters must be sharp and know that this one, people lose interest quickly and we want to win them over as they start. And one of the things that I like about a Zoom master is that they have the power of setting up the tone in the beginning. And the beauty about Toastmasters or District 74 is that these things have been done before. The program that I've shared, the open houses, they have been done before. Let us use people that, not use sounds bad. Let us connect with people that have done this before so that they are able to share with us the videos of what technical briefing is and so forth. I see you, Mr. Timer, and then I will go through the program very quickly. We are also willing to share this with you. When the things that I want to highlight about the open house program is that you need to be sharp. The people that are going to be here need to be sharp, need to know what they are going to say. And there are items such as you and Toastmasters. Clinton has mentioned the blueprint of this, and we'll be sharing this with you. But I want to quickly run to the do's and don'ts. And this is also similar to the club events. Put the guest speaker at the end. People are going to fall off if you do not run your meeting effectively. The do's, the program, I cannot overemphasize this. Plan your program in time. The people that have made the pre-event follow-up calls, they should be part of the people that are going to be at the event. I saw this happening in our open house where we were able to sign up 15 new members. When we made the calls, you introduce yourself, we asked, did you see the link? Will you be joining? This is what will be happening. When the people see on screen, the guests see on screen the Tsebiso that they spoke to on the phone, being on the program, they're like, yeah, this is the right event. I remember this voice. Oh, wow, she sounds so seasoned. They already feel like they know you. And outsourcing resources. District 74, we pride ourselves to say that we have elite speakers, we have seasoned DTMs. Your DTMs are there. Reach out to them. Reach out to seasoned members, people that have done this before. Don't try to do it differently. Don't try to do it yourself. Yes, you can put a little bit of your personality in it, but do not try to change the system. It's there, it works. That's why it's there, and we are here to share it with you. Dry run season is a critical. If Bekisisa said that he wants to do you and Toastmasters and he doesn't show up at the dry run, how sure am I that he will show up at the event? If Bekisisa does not join, he's out of the program. Dry run is critical. We're not going to take advantage that Nozipo has done you and Toastmasters or has done guest storytelling. Guest storytelling is where we engage in the guest, and then we're going to say, yeah, no, she's done before, she's going to do it again. No, 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 no. There is no room for disappointment. There's no room for failure. And the program that I've shared previously, it shows that there are backup role players and the responsible people. The backup role players, if I am a backup role player of Mati or of Valentine, and Valentine is not showing up on screen quickly, and the MC of the day keeps on saying that, Valentine, are you there? Or something, and I say, in the absence of Valentine, Mr. MC, I will be sharing with you how I'll be managing as your timekeeper. It must be a rolling wheel. The energy, this one, it is an hour. It is an hour, because people, we are busy. We don't want to be sitting on events that you're not even part of. They're not even paying you. You're from work for over an hour. No, it must be very impactful. And the key, or the flavor that I spoke about in the beginning about an open house, it is the breakout rooms. The people that are going to be in your breakout rooms need to speak the conversion language. We are not joining Toastmasters. We are becoming members of we are starting a journey with Toastmasters. Speak the language that people will be able to relate to. As Max mentioned, no drastic changes. The guest speaker that you have asked to come to be on your program, it must be someone who is reputable, committed. They can't drop you on the day of the event and say, you know, my boss. No, that is drastic. That will set you up for failure. And the role players, the less role players you have, the better. Keep your circle very small of elite, I keep on saying elite, but of people that you know that they have the goal in mind. And do not overutilize. One of the things that I saw and was a lesson for me is when you plan the program, when you are the president, and then you want to be an MC, no, it's not going to work. If you are planning, you should be sharp and seeing, is Penny gonna be here? Is Penny here? Okay, is whoever here? You know, you need to be a logistics manager at that point. You can't be an MC as well. So do not overutilize your role players. Lastly, no Toastmasters Jagger, no DTM, no Mr. Toastmaster of the evening, Madam VPER, there's no such. There is MC of the day, there is, maybe you can say Toastmaster Becky or Becky Sisangomani. There's no DTM future here. So mind the language. We don't want to confuse people. It's like going to an event and people are making an inside joke that you don't know about. And you feel like, I should be watching TV right now. So you don't want to make our guests to feel that way. And fellow Toastmasters, as I have mentioned, these things have been done before. The program is there. They are recordings as well. You don't have to do it alone. And I hope that with the little that I have shared with you, one of the things that you could remember is the theme, is where the goal, the guest speaker, impactful event. This must be a swift, smooth running event. Be intentional. When you are intentional about your event, you will be intentional about the role players that you put there. It is all exciting and glam to have 300 registrants. But if you're not going to be a good host, that is kind, that people are going to remember, they will not want to be part of your club. And lastly, I love this code which says good intentions are useless until they are expressed in appropriate action. Our action is that we want to sign 5 members, we want to sign 19 members. Let us be great hosts. And that is it from me, Mr. PRM.
Wow, thank you, Tepiso. Let's give a rousing round of applause. Unmute yourself and make some noise for Tepiso. Thank you, Madam Lady. Make some noise, make some noise, make some noise.
Madam President.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
I will let Tepiso stick around for another 10 minutes as she is taking questions. Any questions? You may raise your hand. Thank you, Madam AD. Thank you, Madam AD. She was very clear there. Howard, go ahead. Howard is going to have one of the most successful open houses because he's asked questions at each segment. Go ahead, Howard.
Because it's already happened. Utsepis already did it for us. Oh, anyway, wow. Madam President, sorry, I call you Madam President. How do you reach out to these guests who are pretty, you get very good guests for your club events? I mean, do you literally just send a LinkedIn? Like, I just want to know, how do you reach out to prominent guests?
Yes, okay. That's a great question.
That's a great question, Howard, because also your guests should be able to link to what you do as Toastmasters, what your club believes in, and also the theme of the event. So, like Becky has mentioned that they were intentional about accelerators because they wanted academics. So you then say, send these people, you reach out to them by sending them whether it could be a DM, or the people in your club as well. I remember with our guest, the past guest speaker, we asked in our club who can help us with this, with getting a guest to our event. And then you reach out to them. You can get their phone numbers, be vulnerable, or not vulnerable, but be intentional. You can DM on Instagram, you can DM Facebook or LinkedIn, whoever that you see as a potential to who is aligned to your club. Find the platform where they are most active on and be persistent in contacting them to say that this is what we're doing and would really love to host you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Fantastic. I think there was another question. Let's take Caroline.
Thank you, Madam AD, for the impactful and quite insightful presentation. My question is, as a new club or as a new club that is launching, how then do you attract role players? Because at times you might find that being intentional about your role players might not actually be in the mix, but you actually need role players for your event. How then do you go about it?
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Caroline. This is a very great question because it shows that you need support. And the support could come from the area director. The area director has a great contact with the district. So the district is then able to say that they could even contact the district to say that, hey, we need someone who's going to help us with role playing, and they could be able to help you with that. So reach out to area director, division director, if you have their contacts, and they will be able to help you with that.
Fantastic. Caroline, are you answered?
Thank you so much, Madam AD. I'm quite answered.
Simalumba. Baleta, please put your question on the chat. Simalumba, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam AD, for the clear and concise presentation. My question is, when it comes to the open house, would you recommend that we have different tiers of speakers in terms of the different levels that Toastmasters present in terms of the level of expertise or experience rather? Like, would you recommend that we have someone delivering an icebreaker and then someone who's a little bit above and an experienced speaker, and then we have the guest speaker towards the end? I believe that my thinking is that when we have these different levels, our guests are not intimidated by what they are receiving or hearing for the first time on the platform. So please advise on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simalumba. The blueprint program of the open house gives two types of speakers. One is an icebreaker, and two is I would say seasoned, but an advanced speaker, So within open house program, it only allows two speakers. So it showcases someone who just started and someone who has grown into the journey. It's just that I went through it very fast, but I'm also willing to share that with you so that you can see that you don't only need two speakers for your open house.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Tsepi. So I know some of you still have got questions. Please put them on the chat. We are racing against time at the moment, but we are almost done. And I'm glad that you came here in the morning and you are still here. Tsepi, so if you don't mind, please share the agenda, the blueprint, the open house blueprint on the chat. You still wanted to say something?
Yes, I saw a very great question where Kundai asked the synonym between event and meeting, and I'm intentional of saying event. We attend a lot of meetings. This is an event, and with an event, your role players will know that they dress up, they show on camera, they become presentable, and they understand that this is a very impactful season that we are part of. A meeting, we just want to make a contribution with your camera off. So when we say event, it sets up the tone for our role players as well. And the guests, when they will be attending, they will know that it's an event, not a meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tsepiso, for those insightful nuggets that you just shared with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that we are going to have a value-packed event. Here am I saying event again. Let's make some noise for Tsepiso Maja, top president or president of the top club right now. Let's make some noise. I'm sure we can make it better. I'm sure we can do better.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
I am looking forward to all of you hosting those impactful events where you get people started. Talking about getting people started, that is our next segment. You've run a successful PR and marketing campaign to get people to your event. You called people to make sure that they come to your event. You run a successful event. How do you make sure that you get people started? And that is my segment now. And I'm using those words once again intentionally. We get people started on a journey. People don't join Toastmasters. People join pyramid schemes. They join other things. They join this. But in Toastmasters, we get them started on a journey because we want to make them understand that they're getting started on a journey that we will walk with them and they will grow with us and we will grow with them and they will always get to that next level that they want to get to. And that way they even know that, okay, I am part of this now. This is a journey. It's not just a once-off thing. Then even when it comes to renewals, then they can easily renew. Now I'm going to take you through that presentation, which I have used as a lot of times on how do you get people started. And this was very instrumental in helping us start 3 clubs when I was area director. It was very instrumental in starting 3 clubs when I was division director. This is something that we've worked on throughout the years. It was a trial and error at the beginning, but eventually we got to understand what works. And now we use it every time and it works every time. In fact, last year on the Hall of Fame, I was privileged to be nominated and also receive the award of the award called the Bright Spark Award. And it was literally because of what we came up with or on how to convert guests to members, how to really convert guests to members. That script that Clinton showed, I will share with everyone that's on this call. I do have that script. I will share it with everyone. So at the end of this presentation, I will share the script. This presentation assumes that you've had 50 or more guests in your event. If you've got 50 or more guests in your event, you will at least sign minimum 5 people, no matter how bad you are in sales. If you've got 50 guests in the room, you will sign a minimum of 5 people if you do what I'm about to tell you. And that by show of hands, who would love to sign up 5 new people in the next 14 days? The next 14 days, would love to get 5 new people in their clubs? I see one hand from Valletta, Michelle Nyamudeza, Caroline, Aurelia, and a couple of other people. So everyone that's here, I assume you want to sign 5 new people. So that means you are going to make those invitations to get 50 people on your next event. When I say 50 people, I'm talking about 50 guests on your next event. Your club hosted a successful open house event, which we've given the nuggets for right now, how to host a successful open house event, right? And that is quality. Now, question: when does the process of converting start? When does that process start? I will take hands now. For those who just raised hands to say they want 50 people, lower your hands. Claudine, did you raise your hand for this question? When does the process of converting members start? Claudine, when does you may unmute yourself and say something. Claudine. Okay. Valletta, go ahead. When does the process of converting guests to members start?
Hello, thank you very much, my leader. I want to think that the conversion process starts almost immediately. So we don't have to wait for the open house session or event, but we need to start the conversion right away.
Fantastic. When you say right away, you mean from the time you put up a poster, this is where the converting process starts, correct?
Yes.
Definitely. This is exactly when the converting starts. Tepiso mentioned something, she said you must be intentional. And I think Liza said the same thing. Clinton said the same thing. You need to be intentional with every step that you take, from the time you put up a poster and to all the steps that you're going to take. It is a converting strategy. So you need to be intentional from the onset. 7-point converting strategy. Number 1, host a quality event. Tepiso spoke about it, and she stressed on it that when you host that event, make sure that it is a quality event. You need people to be briefed. You need people to know exactly what they're going to do. You need people to know their cues. When are they going to come in, and so forth, right? Talk to guests before the event. Find out their why. Clinton mentioned this. So and I think Future as well mentioned this. In fact, every speaker mentioned it that was here. What you want to do is the people that have registered for your event, you want to give them a call 48 to 24 hours before the event itself. And you ask them several questions. Firstly, you thank them for saying yes, they want to attend the event. After thanking them, then you ask them if they've received the confirmation link, if it's going to be on Zoom, right? And if it's not going to be on Zoom, if it's going to be in person, tell them that you will send them directions, or ask them if they've received directions if you've already sent them. From there, what got you interested in this event? That is key, because this is what you need at the end when you get them started, when you call them to get them started. You need to ask them their why. This will come back later. Pay attention when you are when you are doing those, we call them assurance calls, to make sure that they come. Ask them what got them interested in this event. Ask closing or leading questions. What did you like best? This is at the end when you are asking them to get started. You're asking them closing or leading questions. You are not, see, a lot of times what we do is when we close our guests, we want to let them ask questions. And when they ask questions, they are in charge. They're going to ask you hundreds of questions, and they're not going to get started. Because here in Toastmasters, we learn every day. I mean, today I learned something from Toastmasters. So there is people don't need to know everything before they get started. All they need to know is their desire, what they want. Will it be satisfied here? That's what they want. And how do you get to that? You ask them closing questions. What did you like best? They will tell you exactly what they like best. Based on that, then you tell them, oh, actually, we can provide that. And these are the benefits of doing that, right? We will do role playing shortly. Lead them in getting started. Assume the sale. At all times, you want to assume they want to get started, especially when you ask the question, what did you like best? When they tell you what they like best, that in itself is telling you that, okay, they're interested, they want this. For the mere fact that they actually attended your event, it means they definitely want this. So you assume they want to get started. We are not selling drugs. We are not selling something that's illegal. This is something people need. And the reason they came to your event, they're hoping that you know that they need this. I mean, for the mere fact that you signed up for Toastmasters, somebody out there also wants to sign up for Toastmasters. So assume they want to get started. See, when you think they need to be convinced to get started, this is what put tension on you, and it becomes difficult for you to convert them. But when you assume that they already want this, then it becomes easy on you. Get a commitment. Get a commitment on the day, and don't be scared to ask a commitment question, because when people don't commit, it's a lost sale, right? Get to know when are they going to pay. Is it going to be tomorrow? When they say month end when? Is it the 25th? Is it the last day of the month? Is it the first day of the next month? get that commitment and put it down. And when you put it down, that way you know exactly when to follow up with them. And lastly, give them direction. I'm going to send you forms. Please complete forms. Complete the form. Return it to me with a POP, or return it to me and later send a POP. Give them a direction like they've never completed forms before. In fact, I would go ahead and say, when you are in an in-person meeting, Clinton mentioned a very important thing, have forms in hand. When they say they want to get started, put the form down, complete it for them if it's possible. So what's your name? Where would you like Toastmasters to send your certificates when would you like Toastmasters to send correspondence? That's their address. Where do they stay? What's your email address? Where would you like Toastmasters to contact you from? The email address, your best phone number. You complete that form, and once you completed that form, you say, okay, I'm going to keep this form. Here are the banking details. As soon as you make that payment, please send me a POP. You can send it to me on WhatsApp, or you can send it to me on email. Here's my email address, or here's my cell phone number. Congratulate them for the decision they've taken. Remember, some of them are still nervous in taking this decision. See, people are nervous whenever they take decisions because they've taken decisions that they've regretted before. So they become nervous most of the time when they take that decision. But to deal with those nerves, you want to congratulate them, give them that positive word. Just say, congratulations, you've taken this decision to getting started on this journey. I can't wait to see you grow. You're already painting a vision of where they're going to be. I can't wait to see you on big stages. I can't wait to see you grow as a leader. I'm looking forward to working with you. We are going to allocate you a mentor and so forth and so on. Now they are looking forward to something instead of thinking about the investment that they're making now. They're looking forward to what they are going to get. Yes, yes. If you are still with me, please type yes on the chat. If you are still with me, please type yes on the chats. Yes. Yes, Jean Howard is saying, still with me. Can you say still with me? Fantastic. Now let's go to the next slide. Now, there are different types of events. Sepiso mentioned this, or I think Clinton mentioned it as well. There are online events and there are in-person events. In an online event, you want to create breakout rooms to go do the closing, right? And then you also want to create breakout rooms. Have dedicated people for the breakout rooms. Do not assume that every Toastmaster that is here is going to go into the breakout room. Dedicate those people and say, you are going to go to a breakout room, you're going to go to a breakout room, and train those people on what to do when they get to a breakout room. A lot of times people go to a breakout room and start mentioning stories, because sometimes you're going to go to the breakout room and meet someone that you know and then start talking about, hey, remember so-and-so, hey, remember when we went to school, what. We don't want that. You want to be very efficient in the breakout room. You want to be very efficient, and we need to train people that are going to a breakout room on what are they going to do there and what are they going to say exactly. And that way, then it becomes efficient. I will get to that shortly. Create a Google membership form. We are in a virtual world. Sometimes sending PDFs or sending the forms in a hard copy forms, it becomes difficult when you're in the breakout room. So you want to make sure that by the time you leave the breakout room, at least people have completed the form. So what we do is we take the information that's on our Toastmasters form as it is, we create a Google form based on that, right? If you don't know how to create a Google form, go to YouTube and ask YouTube, how do I create a Google form? That's literally how I learn a lot of things. Go on YouTube and then I watch a video. Oh, this is how you create a Google form. Create that Google form and take the information that's on the Toastmasters form, membership form. You are going to use it in your Google form. At the end, as soon as they say yes, they want to get started, you put that Google form on the chat and say, hey, I've sent a chat on your, I've sent a form on the chat. Please click on the form, complete it, and you will be part of us. As soon at the end of the form, there are banking details. Write down those banking details, because these are the banking details you're going to use to pay your membership. And we are congratulations, we are looking forward to getting you started, right? Closing in an in-person event. In an in-person event, it's a bit different. So what you want is have dedicated closers. Again, you don't want to assume. You want to say, okay, you will be closing our guest, and have those dedicated closers sit strategically next to the guests. I've seen this a lot of times. Toastmasters, when they come to the event, especially in-person event, they will form a caucus and they sit by themselves. And because they are used to each other, they've got similar stories. Then they start talking about pathways. They start talking about EXCO. They start talking about this. Now the guest is sitting there by themselves. They don't feel welcome. So you want to have dedicated closers. You want to sit them strategically next to guests. So you want to make sure that when the guests are coming in, they are ushered to their seat. And you know, next to this guest, we're going to put Howard. Next to this guest, we're going to put Kundai. Next to this guest, we're going to put so-and-so. Then that way the guests are not separated by themselves. Everyone is seated next to a guest. And while the event is going on, you want to keep them engaged. Look at their body language. Do they love that? And when they love that, laugh with them. Add some spice while they are in the event. So now they've made a friend in the event. They are not just there in Toastmasters. Yes, they are gaining value, but they are also making friends, and they will get, and this is literally how Tepiso got started. I sat next to her, and while the event was carrying on, we kept interacting with each other. By the time she left, we were friends. Then we kept communicating after she left the event, and she came to another event, then came to another event. After a while, it was a no-brainer. We were friends. She needed to do what her friends does, right? Carry membership forms. Always, I can't stress this enough. I've seen nice or beautiful events where I knew that this would have been a converting event, but because the VPM didn't have membership forms, people just leave and say, hey, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started. And they never get started. Why? Because they never made the commitment. Have membership forms ready. As soon as an event is finished, you want to take out that membership form and help them finish or complete that membership form. Converting questions. Now, this is where I want you to pull up a pen and paper, because these are the questions that you ask after the event or in the breakout room. Number one, again, you don't want to get there and ask, what do you think? Because we don't want to know what they think. Because they might think, yo, you've got a big nose. No, you've got small eyes. Yo, the room was too dark. You don't want that. You want to ask leading questions. What did you like best about what you saw? When you ask them that question, they're already thinking, what did I like best? They're not thinking any other thing. You're forcing them to think about what they liked. And they will tell you exactly what they like. And after they tell you what they like, what you do, you sell them exactly what they like. You sell them exactly what they like. So if they liked the evaluations, you want to tell them the benefits of that evaluation. Remember, the evaluation is a feature. So you want to give them the benefit. Why do we evaluate and what does it do? For instance, you ask a question, so Hloni, what did you like best about what you saw? And then Hloni will say, hey, I love that after someone spoke, someone came and really gave them a feedback. I really, really enjoy that because I need that in my life. Yes, Hloni, that is such a great thing. In Toastmasters, we actually thrive on feedback. anything and everything that we do, we actually get feedback, because we understand that feedback is a breakfast of champions, and it is through feedback that we grow. Each time you give a speech, someone will come on stage, give you feedback, and based on that feedback, you'll go work with a mentor. And after working with your mentor, in your next speech, you will use that feedback so that you get better. Now Shoni is excited because now she knows that there is a benefit to being to getting that feedback. Now, after saying that, you immediately go to the next question. You want to be the one that is asking questions. That way you remain in charge of the room. If they start asking questions, you are going to lose control of the room. And once you lose control of the room, they are going to ask you questions till kingdom come, and they are not going to get started. The next question is there anything else you would like to know before we get you started? You zip it, listen to their question or to their next thing, the next thing they're going to say. This is a time where we structured this question like this because this question assumes that they want to get started. Is there anything else you would like to know before we get you started? So I assume they want to get started. There might be gaps somewhere that they want to be they want to be filled. And they might ask, so am I able to pay this 1,500 rands in terms, or how much time do I need to commit to do this? Whatever question they ask, you answer that question to the best of your knowledge, and you close it with another question. Answer the question to the best of your knowledge, and you ask another question. You may even ask, is there anything else you'd like to know? Is there, after you answer the question, have I answered your question? Yes, you have. So is there anything else you'd love to know before we get you started? And then if there's nothing else, you go to the next question. Are you ready to get started? Sometimes you'll feel the energy that, this one is ready. I don't even need to ask them the question. I need to tell them to get started. And you just say, let's get you started. Or you just say, hey, it looks like you're ready to get started, right? And they say, yeah, I'm ready to get started. And you take up the form, complete the form. If you're online, you put that link on their chat and say, I've got a link on the chat. Let's just complete that link and we're going to get you started. It's got banking details at the end. Make sure that you use those banking details to get started, right? Avoid the word join by all means. People join Bitcoins, people join stock fails, people join. So they've got a bad experience about joining stuff. So I always avoid the word join. I use the word getting you started or use the word signing you up. I hardly use that, but I love getting started because I want to make them understand that we are starting a relationship here. We are getting started on a journey, right? Now, this is very important. You've got a minimum or maximum of 72 hours before a prospect goes cold. Follow up is fortune. That is where you grow. I've seen people being excited on the event, and there is a failure to follow up. Follow up is fortune. After people leave the event, you want to make sure that within 24 hours, you contact them. If you haven't contacted them within 24 hours, make sure that within 72 hours, they have been contacted. If after 72 hours, they've not, please mute.
What are the plans, baby? Okay.
Someone is saying something, please mute. Gidiboni. You want to make sure that within 72 hours, they get you contact them. If you don't, this is what happens. If within 3 days you haven't contacted them, they are gone. that fire dies down. So I want you, each time someone comes to your event, put a ticking bomb in their head, right? And say, it is a ticking bomb. From the event, time the event is finished, I've got 72 hours. 24 hours, tick, 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 tick. 48 hours, tick, tick, tick. 72 hours, they are gone. So you don't want that to happen. You want to get them contacted within 72 hours. After 72 hours, you might need to invite them to the next event because they have gone cold now. They are going to say, I used up the money that I wanted to use. So let's see, maybe next month. You don't want that. If you contact them within 24 hours, you've got a high chance of getting them started. 48 hours, it dwindles, but there is still a chance. 72 hours, there's still a chance. After 30 days, I'm afraid the chances are like close to 5% or less, right? Follow-up questions, call them next day. It was great having you in our event, right? When you call them, you want to remind them of the event. Hey, Penny, it was great having you in our event yesterday. And you ask those closing questions again. So what did you like best about what you saw? Fantastic. So is there anything else you'd love to know before you put in that, that investment? No, I'm ready to get started. Fantastic. Make sure that as soon as you make that payment, send me a POP. I can't wait to get you started and introduce you to your mentor. When can I expect that payment? And then they tell you when they expect the payment. And on that day, you just make sure that you check with your treasurer. As soon as that payment is in, you congratulate them. If not, you want to follow up with them. Now, you might get objections. And this is the time where I take objections. When you get objections, have this in mind. Objections are good. Objections, it's not saying, I don't want to get started. When they don't want to get started, they won't even ask you a question. They will only say, I'm not interested. Then you say, okay, thank you for coming to our event. And thank you for showing up. Bye-bye. If they give you an objection, they're saying, I want to get started, but you understand that? I want to get started, but please say with me, objections are good. You may unmute yourself, all of you, and just say, objections are good.
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 Yeah, I know a lot of
Objections.
are good. Fantastic. A lot of people freeze up when they get objections. What if they say they don't have money? What if they say they don't have time? What? No, when they give you that objection, they're saying, I want to get started, but the problem is I don't have time. I want to get started. The problem is I don't have money. I want to get started. The problem is I need to check with my husband. I want to get started. The problem is I need to check with my boss. So whenever you get an objection, you must know that that is a sign to get started. Fantastic. Now that we've established that, acknowledge the objection. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I want to get started, but I don't have time. No, I understand. So you don't have time. Okay, I understand. Tell me, how much time do you think this will take? First, acknowledge it. Yeah, I understand it. A lot of us at the moment are struggling with our time, especially now that the economy is open after COVID, and we all have to go back to work. All of a sudden, we need to work on all these projects that we need to catch up on. I really understand that. Now they are with me because I'm sympathizing with them. I'm not saying, you've got time. You were watching a soap piece the other day, or no. You want to be with them. People buy from people that they love and trust. So you want them to feel like you understand them, you are with them, right? Okay. Get clarity to their objection. So you say you don't have time. Tell me how much do you think this will take out of your time, and they will tell you. Some of them think this is a course that you have to attend every day. So that's why they say they don't have time. And then they will tell you, I think it will take at least so much time for me. And then you say, okay, fantastic. And what else do you do with your time? They'll tell you, I'm busy with my PhD, I'm busy with that, I'm busy with that. And then you deal with the objection to the best of your knowledge, right? And most of the time when I deal with objections, I use stories. You know, the other day we signed up a lady called Grace. When we signed her up, her name was Grace. And she was busy with her PhD, but just because of getting started with Toastmasters, she was able to finish her PhD and defend her thesis because of the skills that you get in Toastmasters. If we do that, if this can help you do that, would you be ready to get started? Fantastic. So don't worry about time. I will get you a mentor, a coach that will help you to will help you with your time management. And based on that, then you can be better manage your time, even with your business, even at work. Does that work for you? And when they say yes, fantastic. Looks like you're ready to get started. Let's get you going, right? You may defer the objection. If you don't have the answer for that question or objection, you may say, look, I don't have an answer for you right now, but I will get you someone to get you the answer. But if we solve that problem for you, would you be ready to get started? They say, yes, there is no other problem. They say, yes, there is no other problem. You just make sure that you reach out to whoever, or you can even connect them. And once you connect them, that objection is dealt with, then you get them started. And then at the end, make sure that they are satisfied with your answer. Have I answered your question? Right? Are you satisfied with how I answered your question? They say yes. The next thing is, let's get you started. Ask a closing question every time. You heard me at every point after I answer the objection, I ask a closing question, or I tell them what to do. I lead them. Let's get you started, or are you ready to get started? Now I'm ready to take objections from you. I'm going to do role playing. We are running out of time. I'm going to take 3 objections. Most of the time, objections are, I've done this a lot of times. Objections are time, money, and the third person, who is the husband, the wife, or the boss. Those are the 3 main objections you get. But I'm open to hearing your objection. If you've got an objection that you want to raise that you usually get, please raise your hand and let me run you through an objection. This is role playing now. Francois, go ahead.
Unemployed.
I'm unemployed. Okay. Okay, fantastic. Francois, you are unemployed. Yes, it is. Unemployment is a problem in our country, right? I mean, we are one of the top countries when it comes to our unemployment data. Now, tell me, Francois, if I solve that problem for you, so the problem is money, am I correct?
Yes.
Fantastic, no problem. So if I solve that problem for you, would you be ready to get started?
Once it's feasible for me.
Fantastic. So you are saying obviously, yeah, we will make sure that it's feasible for you, because we understand that you don't have any form of income, and at the moment you would love this. You would love to develop yourself so that when you go for your next interview, you are able to ace that interview. Correct, Francois?
Correct. And I have to decide between money for food, because I need to eat every day.
And I understand very much. Okay, Francois, look, I understand, and we understand that in South Africa, we do have that problem of unemployment. But look, we've got what we call a Garmison Trust. Garmison Trust is a trust that was put together for people like you, people who really want to improve their public speaking or their leadership skills, but they don't have the means to get started, right? If I cut 50% from your from your joining fee, would you be ready to get started?
Amazon Trust. You putting me in loan? Didn't you just hear me tell you I'm unemployed? You putting me in loan? What is this Amazon Trust? Trust.
But I love your energy already. Look, this is not a loan. This is me helping you, just slashing 50% of your getting started fee. We slash it off. So instead of you getting started with 1,500 rands, you just figure out how to get 750 so we can get you started, which might really help you to form networks and to gain those skills which can help you get and land yourself a job. Would you be ready to get started?
Oh, is that a loan? Okay, so I can pay that amount, but is it I have to pay it in full right away, or I pay penny by penny? What do I do?
What works
Am
for
I
you?
still?
What works for you, Francois? We can break it into two. We can break it into 2 months. Does that work for you?
Yeah, even that sounds better. I can still eat food every day.
Fantastic. Congratulations. And I'm looking forward to see you grow. I'm going to give you 2 forms. I'm going to give you a form to join Toastmasters and a form to apply for Gammason Trust. I look forward to seeing you grow. And trust me, just with the networks that you built here, you might just land a job in the next 6 months. It's not a promise, but it is possible. Congratulations, Francois. I'm looking forward to see you grow.
All right, thank you.
Gideoni, go ahead.
Hi, I would really love to join. However, in our current structure, we don't have lots of people, so we are now given additional tasks to take. So as a result, I don't have really time to look into that or maybe to partake in that, but I would love to.
So when you say in your structure, you say at work, you've been given more responsibilities to deal with. Am I right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Definitely. And this is what's happening across many industries. A lot of people have been retrenched, which means people that are still in their jobs have to take care of some of the responsibilities that some of those people needed to take care of. And I understand very well. It's happened to a lot of people. But tell me, if this can help you structure your time to be more productive, will you be ready to get started, Gideoni?
Definitely, but I'm not so sure how it's gonna assist me.
Not a problem. I will definitely find ways to assist you. First and foremost, how long do you think this will take you? How much time would it take from you?
Sure, I'm not so sure, but I think it's gonna take most of my time.
Let me help you out of your misery. Look, we usually have 2 events a month, and we would love for you to at least attend one of those events per month. Would that work for you? One of those events per month for about 2 hours, would that work for you for your personal development?
Definitely.
Awesome. In addition, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get you a mentor, right? A mentor who's written a book that's called Elite Productivity, How to Increase Your Productivity with Limited and Dwindling Resources. He is one of our best when it comes to productivity. He will also help you get to structure your days properly and to also do your time management. Are you ready to get started, Gideoni?
Yes, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Fantastic. I'll take one more. I'll take one more. Annie, Annie is clapping her hands. Ladies and gentlemen, that is literally how you do it. And you might not be as smooth as I am at the moment. And it's because I've done this so many times. That's why I am this smooth. The only way to learn how to be this smooth, and you might not even come out like I come out, but eventually you will get your style. You will get the way you deal with things. Only thing is you need to have the right mindset whenever you approach that situation where you help people get started. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would love for you to go and be awesome. And whoever comes to your event, make sure that You give them that call to help them get started. I will take questions now. I will take 2 questions because we are 15 minutes over time. Stanley Piri says, this is gold. Thank you, Stanley. Caroline Munyambi said, objections are quite relatable. Definitely. It's similar our objections most of the times. Marinki, go ahead.
Good morning. Yeah, I'd like to join, but I'm struggling. I've got anxiety. I've got depression. I don't think I'll be able to, handle speaking in front of people.
I've heard that objection, by the way. And really, this would be a great place to start if you've got anxiety, because this is where you will learn how to deal with people. See, we call this a safe learning environment. And some of our learning programs actually help you to deal with anxiety, help you with emotional intelligence. They will help you also with a motivation. We've got motivational strategies. I will actually give you a mentor that was struggling and had anxiety and was even stuttering. And now because of Toastmasters, he was able to get rid of that. Will that work for you, Marinki?
That will work for me. I thought you only accommodate people who have confidence, who don't have, personal challenges. Thank you so much. I will definitely join.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, but in Toastmasters, this is where you learn so that you can gain confidence. Thank you, Marinki. Congratulations on getting started. Go ahead, Annie.
My pleasure. I want to put on my video. Thank you, Becky Sisa, for the opportunity. And then for the insights on how to handle objections. We've had objections in my club where people say, because we meet every Wednesday and it starts at about 7:15, we finish at about 9 o'clock. Then they'll tell you, oh, sorry, I'm scared of driving at night. Yeah.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
these are normally the questions we hear from these people. They want to join, but they tell you, oh, I can't drive at night. That will be my only problem. So how do you handle that?
You've got 2 options there. One option would be, okay, find out where they stay and see if there's anyone in your club that can drive with them, and then organize them a lift club. What happens is they will get started. They will drive with that person 1 or 2 days. Either they'll become friends and form a lift club that works for both of them, or eventually they be like, they like this place, they don't mind driving at night anymore. Some of them is they don't like driving at night. Some of them is they can't. So you need to find out, is it can't they? Maybe it's because of medical reasons, maybe because of eyesight, maybe because of, if that's the case, organize them someone they can drive with, or they don't prefer to. If they don't prefer to, you can still do the same, but eventually what will happen is once they start enjoying what you're doing, they'll start driving, right? Number 2 is you look for another club. Don't worry about they must come to this club. No, Toastmasters is big. So look for another club that meets during the day or in the morning. Connect them with that club and let them get started. You would form friendship with that club, and eventually that club might just return a favor for you. It's happened with me where I held another club in Midrand to get a member because that member wanted to get started, but they lived in another town. So I connected them with that person who's in Midrand, and guess what? That club returned the favor to me when someone visited their event and they were like, no, but I live in Pretoria. Like, oh, go to President Club. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, Big Sister. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
I think I'll take one last question, then we're going to dismiss. I don't think there are any other questions on the chats. Please tell me what was your biggest takeaway, and if you've taken, oh, Kundai, you've got your hand up. Sorry about that. Caroline, you can put your question on the chats, and then On the chair, while on the chairs, please tell me what have you done today, or what was your biggest takeaway, or whatever action you've taken that is going to build momentum. Please put it on the chairs for me. Kundai, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Becky. I wanted to ask, when you were talking about breakout room, obviously that applies to the online platform. What's the in-person version of having like a breakout session? Are we saying, oh, the guests come to this area, this person is going to talk to you, or individuals are going to be spread around to be talking to guests? What does that look like?
And that's a great question. So for in-person meetings, remember what I said was delegate dedicated closers, and you sit them strategically with guests so that when they are done, they just take these guests, maybe 3 at the most, and say, okay, let me deal with these 3 guests, right? So, or maybe let's say 5 at the most. So if you're going to have 50 people in your event, you would want to dedicate 10 closers, and each of them will have at least 5 people that they can work with. But you sit them strategically next to those people. So you'd have 2 people this side, 3 people this side that they can interact with and form friendship with. And then at the end of the event, they close those people.
All right, thank you.
Fantastic. And nuggets of wisdom on how to succeed and have an impactful event. Fantastic. Not using the word joy and follow up is fortune. Those are the nuggets, people. My biggest takeaway was how to pull numbers to the events. Awesome. Going out of Toastmasters for guest speakers. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, we have come to the close of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let this be one of those events that I came, I learned something, I was inspired, and nothing comes out of it. Take action. And the best time to take action is immediately after you get that information, you take action, then your subconscious mind holds it and it becomes part of you. So start right now. If you're going to start an open house event, start right now. If there are guests that you invited to your event and never followed up with, right now, pick up that phone and follow up with those guests, like right now, or invite them to your next event. If you've got an open house, but you never had teams, put those teams together immediately after this event. Let this event be that event that starts momentum in your club so that we also celebrate you. Thank you for joining us for the best part of the morning until almost afternoon. And I'm looking forward to seeing you first grow and your club grows. Beautiful thing about what we shared today is that these skills you can use in your own life. These skills you can use at work. These skills you can use even in your business. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish your club nothing but the best. Have an awesome Saturday afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yes, my boy. That looks nice. What is this?